geography for you, Mount Afaja. Yes, the highest mountain in Ghana, situated in the Volta region. And welcome to our Heritage Month celebrations. This is a whisk in Dagbani. It's known as Nzule My Whisk. Means mine. Look at me teaching you Dagbani like I know a lot of it. But follow Martiti on TikTok. Speak Dagbani. She shows you all the lessons that you need. We've got a big show coming up today for you. We're keeping an eye on a couple of things. There will be a conversation on how to handle mining explosives. Very, very relevant concerning what happened. Considering what happened in Apiati in January. We'll be having the headlines with Kwesi Che Dakwa and Oscar Provençal, aka Inspector Bediako, and we'll be looking at the stories in the news. Policemen involved in bullion van robberies. Hey, what have this? So that's a big conversation we'll be having in the next hour. But for now, we're looking at kidney failure, and that's our health check conversation coming up after this.
The show was a jar or bar anyone conquering dim.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat. Lufat.
Malaria and Kawon to them. Lufat, a malaria drop a cope.
And now you may kiss the bride.
Entrance pharmaceuticals in the sex center. And I Lufat. Lufat, a two malaria sententem. FDA.
Welcome back. Tomorrow, the 10th of March, is World Kidney Day. So this conversation is like precursor to that conversation around the world. Joining me to talk about kidney failure is Senior Medical Officer at Medifem Multi-Specialist Hospital and Fertility Center, Dr. Samson Asala. And he is with the man in that, Kweku Kwarteng, who is living with kidney condition. Gentlemen, you are both welcome.
Thank you.
And happy World Kidney Day in advance.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay, so let's get to the basics. Dr. Sala, so exactly, before we talk about kidney failure, where exactly are our kidneys? I'm just curious.
Great.
Yeah. And what do they do?
Yes. I think we've all heard about kidneys. Mm-hmm. And kidneys are two vital organs in your body. Mm-hmm. There are two, and they're really, really important. They are located in the back.
Oh, really?
Yes, they are located in the back of your body. If sometimes in examination they'll hit your back to see there's a problem with the kidney. So what they do is that they filter blood. Every time blood passes through the kidney is filtering the blood, taking out waste material, and by filtering it regulates what is in the blood. Blood passes through the kidney about 180 times in a day.
180 times a day?
Yes, about 180 times a day. Your blood will pass through the kidney. And as it passes through, every time it's going to filter. Your blood is it's a transport medium. So it takes good things to your cells and it takes waste from your cells. The kidneys are the only place that removes all these waste from the blood. So they are very, very important. Every kidney has small filtration units that do this work. Now, when blood has been filtered from the kidney, what we get as a result is urine. So urine is the byproduct of filtering the blood, and that happens in the kidney. So when we talk about kidney, we are talking about this organ. There are two of them that has the important function of removing waste and also regulating and making sure that your blood is normal. As it filters, it checks various aspects of your blood to make sure everything is fine. The main important ones are your water content. Everybody will know that when you don't drink a lot of water, your urine becomes a bit deeper in color and less. But when you drink a lot, then you pee a lot and it's very light. It's all part of the kidney's work of maintaining your blood volume. So by filtering, it says that, oh no, the blood is getting the volume is being too much, let's take this out. It also takes out waste products. So we have what are called nitrogenous compounds that are byproducts of your body just functioning. It takes that out. It regulates your acid-base status so that your blood doesn't become too acidic. The more your body works, the more acid it produces as a byproduct. Your car, when it is functioning, produce exhaust. So the cells in the body, when they are functioning, they produce acidic components, and your kidney comes to regulate that to make sure that your body doesn't end up becoming too acidic. Then there are things called electrolytes, basically ions that are in your body. We have calcium, we have sodium, we have potassium, we have chloride. All these things are in your body, and they are important for the function of your nerves, for the function of your muscles, and your kidney helps to regulate all those levels. So without the kidney working, all these things will be out of shape. Then when it comes to your blood level, the kidney produces a hormone that tells your body that no, we need to produce more blood. You know, that is the kidney that filters the whole blood, so it can tell that no, the blood level is a bit low, so let's produce more, or it's okay, let's maintain it. So the kidney does all these functions, and it is one of the essential parts of the body. When your blood volume is reduced, the body maintains blood to 3 essential organs: your brain, your heart, and your kidneys. So they're critically important.
It sounds like there's a whole chemistry experiment going in your body in connection with the kidney, and it's doing a lot of things.
Yes, it does.
It works really hard.
Yes.
And we have 2 of them.
We have two. We have two.
Is the second one like a spare power bank? Is it like a power bank? Is that how it works?
No.
They
It's
have
not.
to work together?
They do have to work, but the good thing is that the kidney has an increased capacity. So most of the time, not all of the kidney is working. Not all of the filtration units are working at a time. So you can work with just one. So when only one is working, then they undergo what is called a hypertrophy. The filtration unit gets bigger to do more work.
Yeah.
But then that means that we must be extra careful because you got just one. On a normal, we have the kidneys working at less than maybe 50% of their maximum capacity at any given time. That is so that there is excess
In case something happens and you
in
have to work.
case something happens, in case you take a whole lot of, you expose some chemicals and really have to remove it out quickly, or something happens and we need to do it quickly, then you can increase the amount of
output, yeah.
Exactly,
Okay.
the number of units, and they can clear it.
Okay.
So a redundancy package is innate in your kidneys, but there can be problems in the kidney that makes that difficult work, and that is the kidney failure.
Exactly,
we are
and
talking
you've
about.
set it up very nicely for us to talk about that. I'll come to you so quickly, but let's talk about what causes kidneys to fail.
Right. So there are 2 broad areas when it comes to kidney failure. We have the acute and we have the chronic. There's a fable I used to explain this about a frog in hot water. In one instance, when the frog goes into the water, it's very hot, it quickly jumps out. And the other frog is in normal temperature, and then it keeps the temperature is increased.
Okay.
Yes, because of the slight increase, the frog still stays there, and then there's no problem. Now, in acute kidney injury, we have like the immediately hot water. So there are some causes of kidney failure that happens within weeks, days to weeks. It happens suddenly.
What will cause that?
So that can be caused by blood loss. Blood loss is one of the the major causes. Some chemicals that we take can cause it, and then there are some disease conditions that can cause it.
Are there any genetic factors that can cause that?
Yes, some genetic factors are influenced. They exert their influence through the kidney diseases. Okay, so those things usually happen within a short time, and you will notice it.
How
You're
short
just
is the
there.
short? How short is the short?
So that's like within a day, sometimes a week.
It can be that acute?
It can be that acute. It can be that acute.
Wow.
It can be that acute. Imagine somebody is in a road traffic accident and has blood loss. Remember I said that blood will be shunted preferentially to the brain, the heart, and the kidney. But if you lose a lot of blood and it's not going to the kidney, the function just reduces. So there's that acute kidney injury, and for that one, most of the time, because it's acute, just like that thing, because it's immediately hot, people realize it and then do something about it. So even though that is also critical, most of the time we will see it. You will notice it. The doctors will also notice it early, and then something will be done to try and salvage the situation. The problem is with the slow increase in temperature one. That's a chronic.
Okay.
That's a chronic. Now the thing with the chronic is that there is gradual loss of kidney function. Remember I said the kidney has some redundancy. So it can take a long time before you realize that, oh, my backups are not working.
How long is the long?
So chronic kidney disease typically takes 5 or more years to show. Now the major things that cause chronic kidney disease worldwide is diabetic disease, hypertensive disease. We have nephropathies. There are also conditions that come from the kidney, but they take a longer time to show. So these are the major things. There are other causes, but then the major ones are these. In Ghana, one of the things we have seen is a major cause of chronic kidney disease here is herbal medications.
Oh,
yes.
The ones they've been advertising on the radio and television.
The ones they've been advertising on the
street
radio,
corners,
on television, and they go with the vans. And I think it's pretty important because there's no Ghanaian I know who doesn't take herbal medication. I mean, everybody takes it at some point in time. From the pandemic to now, people are taking like herbal medications the whole time. Everybody is inhaling steam, is drinking this. They said this works, this works. So you see, we don't really have a problem with herbal medication per se, but your kidneys are functioning to filter things out of your body. Unfortunately, the majority of herbal medications, they do not have a prescribed dosage or period.
So what, every mix is different, and you can take it for as long as we want.
That's what happens. Okay. I know a guy who told me that he's got some herbs, and he's been told that it's good for constipation. So I asked him how much. He feels like he takes 2-3 times. So that is the problem when it comes to the way we take herbal medications in Ghana. The research facility will tell you that there's nothing in it that is harmful, but when you take something in excessive quantities, you are affecting your kidneys. And even drugs that we give in the hospital, we will tell you that don't take it, it's for a certain duration. If you come, we'll ask you, have you taken this drug immediately? We won't give it to you because we know that if we do that, it will affect your kidneys. It's the same for herbal. It's just that the regulation, somebody will take 2 and it's fine. The person will take 2 and say that, I don't feel it. Let me add something. Exactly.
Take a bunch.
Exactly.
Wow. Revelation there, this herbal medications, #1 cause of kidney problems in Ghana. Good education we're having right here with Dr. Samson Asala, and it's a conversation which is leading up to World Kidney Day, which happens tomorrow. WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Send them over. We'll answer as many as we can. As we can. And now to Kweku Kwating. Kweku, welcome once again.
Thank you.
What's your story with kidney disease?
Okay. All started when I finished ACS around 2015. Suddenly something came to me to pass clinic, which is called as SDA. So I went there, they checked my BP, and it was high.
How high?
I think it was around 198, 110. And then the nurse told me I have to sit down for, I think, 30 minutes. So I sat down for 30 minutes, and then I came back. She checked, and it was still high. She told me I should go back, and then she continued taking care of the other patient. So the time I realized it was 6 p.m.
You got there what time?
Around in the morning, around 10. So the doctor called me and then told me, according to the conditions, they can't allow me to go home with this BP. So they admit me at the ward, and then they started monitoring my BP. They told me I shouldn't do anything. They even seized my phone and those things. They said they want me to relax and see whether it can come down. But still, it was high. So I was there for 3 days, and then they referred me to Kwalebu to come and see a specialist. And then they admitted me at medical 3. I was there for 3 months.
But the time they checked you in, you were there for, wow.
But the time I was in ward, I didn't see any symptoms or weakness, or I was fit, okay, I can do everything. So it came to a point I have to come and write exams. So they discharged me on the Friday. Then I came back to Kumasi and write the exams. Then I came back. By the time I was coming to Kumasi, they have inserted what you call Pemicat.
What's that?
It's the tube they use to connect. It's the tube they connect between you and the machine for dialysis.
Okay.
So I can't use the Pemicat to travel because when it moves, I'll bleed a lot. And then, so they removed the Pemicat, and then I came to Kumasi and then write the exams. So after the exams, I think 1 month later, I came back to Accra, and they made me do some labs. Still the creatinine and the urea and those stuff were high. So they inserted another Pemicat again on my neck.
Okay.
So that's where I started the dialysis, which is around 2016. Then I started the dialysis on 2016, till now.
Till now?
Yeah.
How often do you have dialysis?
In the beginning, I started 3 times a week. I did for, I think, 1 year. And then it reduced to 2 times.
So now you're on 2 times a week.
Yeah.
How long is a session? When you go in for dialysis?
1 session is 4 hours.
So you come in, they hook you up to the machine?
Yes.
And then you're there for 4 hours?
Yeah.
What do you see around you when you are there?
Okay, the tubes are transparent, so you see your blood circulating from your body to the machine.
What color is your blood?
Oh, it's red.
It's red. Okay. So you see the tubes going around?
Yeah, you see everything.
Okay. The first time you saw that, what was going through your mind?
I was shocked. And I was sad too.
Why were you sad?
And it's painful.
It's painful?
When you get infected. When you get infected, very, very painful. So a lot was going on.
Have you gone this week?
Yeah, yesterday.
You went yesterday?
Yeah.
So you spent 4 hours there?
But now I'm using fistula.
What does that mean?
The fistula, they will join your artery and the vein. They want pressure. They want a high blood pressure so that the machine can pull it and then filter and then pass it back to you. But the arteries are not on the surface of your skin, so they will struggle before they will get that. But the veins are on top, so they join the artery to the vein so that the pressure in the artery will come to the vein so that they can access it early. So that one is here. That's the fistula.
Is it still painful?
Yeah, when you're inserting the needle, it's painful. But after,
you cry?
Oh no,
You don't cry.
yeah.
Have you realized that your biology has improved with what you're going through? You know a lot about what's happening inside your body.
Yes. Right now, if I take in something the doctors have told me not to take, I'll see the symptoms
Immediately?
after digestion has taken place, and then or the next day.
Okay.
For instance, if I take more water than what they have prescribed for me, the water will clang in my lungs, and then I can't breathe well. You breathing half, like some way you can't breathe well. Yes.
How much water are you supposed to be drinking every day?
Okay, at normal circumstances, they say that you take 750, which is this one and then half. So this one is 500.
This is 500. So 1.5 of this.
Yeah.
That's all your water for the day.
For the day. And then if you want to drink or soup or something, you have to deduct it from it.
So this is your allocation is 750.
Yeah,
Any
so
liquid
any fluid you have to take it.
Must add up. But do you feel thirsty?
Yes.
So when you feel thirsty,
and I'm learning to not beans, too much protein, and then red meat. So many things.
So what do you eat?
What do I eat?
Yes.
I eat rice, yam, and pankun.
The normal Ghanaian food.
Yeah.
And fruits as well, right?
Yeah.
Are fruits good for you?
Yes.
Thank God they don't allow you not to eat fruits. Thanks for sharing that story. Dr. Sana, so is this a typical case for somebody who has kidney issues?
Yes, this is typical in the sense of the symptoms, the cause, and also what has happened in the treatment. Remember I said the kidneys are filtration organs. So when we suspect a kidney injury, what we do is we test the blood. Now, if the kidney is not working, it means that some of the things that are supposed to filter will be increasing. He mentioned creatinine. It's one of the things that the kidney filters out of your blood. So once the filtration function is affected, it will accumulate. So we'll see that there are increasing levels of creatinine in your blood. Now, creatinine is not the only thing that accumulates. There are other things. One is called urea. It is a byproduct of protein breakdown. That's why he's restricted
to the meat. You can't eat the meat. You can't eat the beans.
Exactly.
Because that builds up protein, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
He's also restricted in his water, because remember I said that your kidneys will say that, okay, you drank a lot of water, let the pee be more, or you drank less, let it be. Normally, you and I have our kidneys working 180 times a day. Kweku has that twice a week. From 180 times a day to twice a week. That is a big drop. So he's on this restricted fluid, restricted diet, because the machine is doing for him what his kidneys cannot do for itself. And unfortunately, it cannot be plugged in 24 hours a day. Even for those who have their own machine, you can't do it all the time, because there are risks associated with you having this thing happening to you all the time. So he is on what is called renal replacement therapy. His kidneys have shut down, so we've replaced it with the dialysis.
They are in effect his kidneys now.
They are in effect his kidneys.
Okay.
And because it is machine, it's not natural, he has to reduce the pressure on those by making sure that he doesn't take too much of phosphate products. That's what the granules and the things, proteins, he reduces it. His volume of fluid.
Have you stopped eating granules completely?
Yeah.
Completely?
Yeah, I don't like the granite.
You don't even like it in the first place?
When I take it, I suffer a lot.
Okay.
So
And you stop eating meat
the
completely?
meat, I can take like Manchester balls, small.
A matches box of meat a day?
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine that. All the kebab that you eat,
It's gone.
It's gone.
Wow.
It's gone.
But fish
And-
is okay?
Yeah, fish is
Fish is okay? Okay.
And you see, this fluid that he's taking, right now his body has to adjust to this system of managing, because the normal thing is gone. He talked about hypertension, and I think it's really important. Hypertension and diabetes. His was at a very, really young age. It's not common to have it at this young age, but increasingly we are getting so many people with hypertension, with diabetes. A lot of our workers right now, people are leaving home early, they don't eat on time, they work under stress, they come home late, they come and they eat fatty meals. They are increasing their risk of hypertension and diabetes, which will lead to problems in the kidney. I had a gentleman in in our hospital, I met him, who 2 weeks ago, he's less than 40. He's also got kidney problems. He had hypertension diagnosed when he was about 33, but he didn't believe the diagnosis.
Was he a church boy?
No, he's not.
He just didn't believe that he had hypertension.
You know, he's a young, fit guy. Doctors say he has hypertension. He doesn't feel sick. They say you should take medication.
Forget.
They say the medication you'll be taking it for as far as they can tell for life. They say, oh, how can? So he didn't take his medications. Now his kidneys have failed. He's going to be starting dialysis like how Kweku is. And he's going to be restricted like how Kweku is being restricted. So hypertension, diabetes, these are the slow ones. And I think the slow ones are the things that are most problematic.
The frog in the water and the temperature is increasing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Those slow ones that gradually destroy your kidneys, they are the ones that are worst because you don't realize them. It's not like you are there and then something suddenly happens. Now with Kweku, any slight imbalance, he'll feel it. Because electrolytes, the ions in the body, will affect his muscles. He'll get weakness. He'll feel like vomiting. He just feels unwell. His whole system is out of balance.
So you become very careful now, I would imagine. Are you able to do, what kind of exercise can you do?
Okay, I can jog small.
Okay, you can jog a little bit. Okay. Is there an alternative to what Kweku is having as far as managing the condition? Is transplant an option?
Transplant is.
Okay.
Transplant has been happening in the world for many years. But in Ghana, I think we had our first transplant in 2008, 2009. That was the first transplant. Now, transplant means that you're taking someone's functional kidney and giving it to someone who does not have. Remember, we have two kidneys, and under normal function, they are not
Working at
100 capacity. So if someone can give one, then we do it. There are two ways we get kidneys for transplant. We do transplant from people who have died, and also from living
donors.
Yes,
okay.
Living donors.
Okay.
What we aim at transplant is to get as close as there are markers, things that we test in your body and his body to make sure that it's as close as possible to his. So there's not a lot of reaction. Your body reacts to every foreign thing in your body.
So it has to be as close as possible. Okay.
The best is if they are twins. But how many identical twins are there who have one kidney failure? But that's the closest. That's the best. There are other medications that can help to prevent this transplant failure. But transplant is something that is done.
Okay.
It is not common in Ghana because we culturally, Ghanaians have
they don't want their organs taken out.
Yes. And then also taking a dead body in Ghana to what are you using the thing?
Rituals, all kinds of
exactly
things. All right.
Exactly.
Let me speak to Kweku. Kweku, would you like to have a transplant?
Yeah, if I get that opportunity.
Okay. What's the process? Do you have to go into a queue? You have to request for it, and then they put you in a line, and then
when they have a certain amount, when you get it, you talk to the doctors. They will plan everything for you.
Okay. How expensive is it to get a transplant?
I don't know actual price, but it's
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anybody who's willing to give you a kidney?
I have brothers.
You have brothers?
Yeah.
Okay, but no twins?
No.
No twins. Let's take some messages on our kidney conversation ahead of World Kidney Day, which Dr. Asala will talk about briefly before we go. Thelma!
Yes, CAF, and thanks for joining us with your comments. 05555611034. Remember, comments made by persons on our platforms represents their own views and not the views of GBC. Getting straight to it. Good morning, Dr. Sampson. Thank you for saying herbal medications are affecting our kidneys. We need more education for the public to be aware. How many dialysis machines do we have in Ghana hospitals? Well done, GBC, because Kwabena in Kaswa. Are you able to answer how many dialysis machines we have?
Not really.
So at your facility, for example?
Our facility currently doesn't have.
Okay.
There are private and then government. Kweku will tell you that it costs about 300 cedis for 1 unit, 1 cycle. And you need to do this 2 to 3 times a week.
Is it a national health service?
It's not.
Why not?
It's not. So you are paying for 8 to 12 dialysis in a month. So let's just say 10. 300.
3K.
10. 3,000 every month. Not everyone can afford that amount.
Who's paying for yours?
Okay, my family and then a certain man too is helping us.
Okay. Is anonymous? Do you know the person?
The man.
The man.
Yeah, I saw him once.
Okay.
He came to visit us.
Okay.
On their clinic.
All right. And so they're helping you to fund the dialysis. God bless them. More.
Useful health education. We need more from Alaji Haruna in Ashaiman. Good morning, BFS. Please, can pig kidneys be transplanted on humans? Something I read and need confirmation. I've read this somewhere. Someone asking this question before.
Yes. So for transplant, like I said, want as close a match as possible. For the pig, one of the commonest things we use we take from pigs for human beings is heart valves.
Okay.
Not kidneys per se. We don't really use kidney from pigs for human beings that much.
Your heart valves are as close to our valves as possible?
Yes. For heart valve transplant, pig valves were the first things that we're using. But now there's more artificial ones, but yes.
Yeah. I'm sure these artificial printers, 3D printers will be printing heart valves for us and things pretty soon.
More questions coming in. We tackled this. What causes kidney failure and what are some of the elements that are harmful to the kidney or damage the kidney?
Watch the stream again.
Aaron Kokoma. What's the stream again? All those answers are there. Mina Hunter is trying to put us in a tough spot. And I'll just raise my hand right now and say, I don't know. I'll ask my mom when she wakes up. Good morning, Honorable CAP Dr. In fact, the education and awareness creation on kidney functions has been highly phenomenal. My question is just a teaser. Please, in this Heritage Month, tell us, help us know the local name of kidney in Ewe, Akan, and Ga, and then northern languages. Mina Hunter is asking, please help us. Cap, do you know kidney in Ewe? Akan. I have no idea. I'm going to ask my mom right now. I'm going to wake her up from her sleep. Then I'll ask her. And then because I know liver is flufla, but I don't know kidney.
Okay.
Because I've never.
Yes. You're setting your own question. You're a smart student.
So, good morning to all GBC workers, especially Kafu. Good morning to you as well. GTV. Can he let us know the symptoms? Because you said at the beginning, somewhere in the conversation, that sometimes you don't get any warning signals and that you only get to know when it is at an advanced stage. Are there signs to look out for at all?
Well, for people who have the chronic type, I would advise that anybody who has hypertension, has diabetes, annually has a kidney test done. Because you will pick it up early. But by the time it's too late, what you see is that early morning facial puffiness, the fluid will build up. Like he says, when he takes too much fluid, it gets up in his lungs. So before it gets your lungs, it be in your face, in your feet, you may start having itching all over, you feel sick, vomiting. Those are some of the signs, but we want to pick it before it gets there.
Okay, Ketra Asante, Kweku, you are so young and still full of life. Please keep on doing the right things to live longer. The Bible says, what will it profit a man if he gains the world but loses his soul, his life? May God make you strong and bold to fight on. So this is a personal one for you, Kweku. Let's see. What can we do, Gilbert is asking, to minimize our risks of kidney failure? Hashtag GTV Breakfast Yao from Accra.
You talked about hypertension, you talked about diabetes.
Okay.
You know what to do not to get them. Yeah.
Kidney, between male and female, which of these groups are vulnerable? Mr. Amponsa is asking. Ampoma is asking.
Males are more at risk. Research was done in Ghana that shows that males have a higher risk of getting the chronic kidney disease than females. But it does not mean that you should take things.
Couple more before we run.
Okay, I know someone who lived with one kidney, yes, has only one since birth. Is it possible? How long will a chronic patient live in his life, even through dialysis? Bodmaster is asking from Cape Coast.
Right. You can live with one kidney, right?
You can. Yes. You can. I mean, children sometimes have problems with the kidneys when they are born. So we take out the problematic kidney. They can live with one kidney for the rest of their lives because of the capacity. However, when it comes to renal replacement, where your kidneys are failing and we need to replace, there are periods that they can work. If it's only on dialysis, the average is 5 to 10 years. When you have a transplant from a dead person, it's about 10 to 15, and then transplant from living person, that goes beyond 20 thereabouts. Yeah.
Right. Okay, come on. Last one for us.
This one is asking whether internally a lot of young men are getting the sickness. Is it true energy drinks cause it? And I have a personal question. I've heard that even after surgery, the treatment does not end, and that you need some medications periodically to ensure that you keep the kidneys, in good shape. Is that true? And I'll hand over back to Kaf so that he can continue.
Energy drinks, medication after surgery.
Right. So for the energy drinks, it's not the drink alone per se. Remember I said that your kidneys are working to filter. So when you are taking those things in excessive amounts,
it's working harder.
Yes, you are pushing the filtration units, and that's where problems come about.
Okay.
Now, when transplant is done, there are medications you take to prevent your body from rejecting the transplanted kidney. So yes, there are medications you'll be taking for forever.
All right. In 30 seconds, we're running out of time. Tomorrow is World Kidney Day. What should we know? And then I'll hand over to Kweku to round us up.
So you should know that the kidney disease is present, is prevalent. You should test for it. Please get your kidney tested. Get your kidney tested. Go to the hospital, let them do a kidney test and find out what is happening to you, especially if you are hypertensive, diabetic.
Okay.
Take herbal medication.
Thank you very much. Kweku, I'll leave you with the last word, 30 seconds. What do you want to say?
What I'll say is, as your kidneys are functioning well, mind whatever you're taking. Since I lost my kidneys, I have learned a lot. At times when they say something, you won't believe it until it happens to you. So you have to mind whatever you're taking.
Mind whatever you're taking. Thank you very much. We've taken in a lot of information, very helpful and beneficial to all of us. Kweku Kwate is living with kidney disease, and Dr. Samson Asala is a senior medical officer with the Medifem Multi-Specialist Hospital and Fertility Center. Thank you very much. Enjoy the World Kidney Day celebrations. Keep spreading the awareness. Kweku, all the best. More power to you.
Okay.
And the man says he does a little bit of jogging. I don't know what Maltiti does, what kind of exercise she does, but she has the sports news in the palm of her hand, and she will not hopefully be terrorizing Manchester United fans by giving us other news from the world of sports. We've got headlines with KKD and Oscar Provençal. We've got a conversation with Kabute Okansi, MC extraordinaire, and then we've got a conversation on how to transport explosives safely. I also asked the question, what can one city buy these days? One city. Lots of response on Facebook, and I'd love to hear from you as well on 055-556-1034. Here comes the Sports Bulletin with Maltiti.
Thank you for joining us on GTV Breakfast Sports. I am Maltiti. I said they could be looking at the Ghana Premier League. Yesterday there was a good game there. Asante Kotoko and Bechem United also bring you the EPL and some tennis. Let's start off with the Ghana Premier League, shall we? And the Porcupine Warriors need a resolute defense and a brilliant performance from goalkeeper Danlad Ibrahim to avoid defeat at the Nana Jiabo Park. The home side were slightly the better side and would be disappointed not to take 3 points as they slipped to fourth.
Going early in this game. It is Simoro's delivery. Goalkeeper Idrisu is able to get the ball away. Emmanuel Boat. Asante takes it. Quick save from Danlad. Spectacular drive from Avognon.
It's a water save. It's a brilliant save by Danlad because the ball was well struck by Avognon on the volley, and Danlad
Augustine Okra for Bechem United. Aaron Essel just around on the right side. He sends a cross, too direct and too straight.
Too close to the goalkeeper. It's a disappointing cross because he had enough time and space to try and measure a good one in there, but straight into that 60-yard box.
Emmanuel Ano, a whistle back to Ano. Good play from Ano, weaving his way to the Kotoko area. Goes down. There's an appeal for a penalty. Referee's not interested. Here is Latif Anabila. Good tackle from.
And the Bechem also had a big shout at the other end. Again, no foul here. I'm not sure it's a penalty. I don't think it's a penalty.
Goes on to the left side where Infege is able to go past Acel. Now is a Tuga rooting for him. It is still Clinton Dodu. Does he provide the magic that Bechem United needs for the opening goal? Nearly settled. Lativa Nabilato, Clinton Dodu. He's brought so much life to the attacking play of Bechem. Nearly found the opener with his left-footed effort.
You're not too sure whether he's going to go down the right or the left. This time around, he checks onto his left. You think it is a speaker side, but he's got enough power in that boot to generate.
Now, Bechem United defender Samuel Osei-Kufo, who was voted man of the match in their Week 19 fixture against Asante Kotoko, has been caught in a viral video stamping striker Frank Etuogombela to prevent him from scoring. The lanky defender was in top form and remained resolute at the back line to stop the informed Asante Kotoko striker from scoring. But the latest video could make things difficult for the defender. Let's take a look at that tackle.
At this level, and if the referee sees what we've just seen here, it's a sending off. That was somewhat of a harsh tackle there from Mituga, but he didn't catch his man. And there, you can't do that. That's cynical. It's great. You can't do that at this level. And if the referee sees what we've just seen here, it's a sending off. That was somewhat of a harsh tackle there from Mituga, but he didn't catch his man. And there, you can't do that. That's cynical. It's great. You can't do that at this level. And if the referee sees what you just seen here, it's a sending off. That was somewhat of a harsh tackle there, but he didn't catch his man. And there, you can't do that. That's cynical. It's great. You can't do that at this level. And if the referee sees what we've just seen here, it's a sending off.
And that was unfortunate. Today we'll look at the sanctions that will be meted out to him. But today's GPL fixtures, we have Hearts of Oak will take on Wafa today at 3 p.m. sharp, and we'll bring you the highlights of that game tomorrow. But look at the table and the standings, and Asante Kotoko are still in top flight with 41 points. Yesterday they were 40 points. Today they are 41 points after the game with Bechem United. Adriana Stars second with 33 points. Great Olympics Olidade with 32 points, and Bechem United, who played Asante Kotoko yesterday, with 31 points. Yesterday they were 30 points before the game, and now they're 31 points, and they are in the 4th position. The bottom three are still 11 Wonders with 20 points, Wafa with 18 points, and Elmina Sharks with 12 points there. Those are the teams in the bottom three of the Ghana Premier League table 2021-2022. Now the Reds. Liverpool's 7th match winning run in the Champions League was ended by Inter Milan, but Jurgen Klopp's side progressed to the quarterfinals with a 2-1 aggregate.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, run I'm a pamper, so we try our suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see whatever I'm gonna do, we go straight to stardom. And I'm gonna take you to next level. Oh, my baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level. Back, baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go next level.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat.
In Jija, woman malaria and kawan to them. Lufat, a malaria drop a cope.
And now you may kiss the bride.
Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat, a two malaria sententem. FDA, Ashasa, a Teddy in Kratoi Ajatus.
From 1921 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve greatness.
Main brands which were in the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which we were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. We were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products like silicone paint.
Join Azar Group celebrate 100 years and to create another brilliant 100 years together.
Hey, tell me more. Tell me more. Hey, tell me more. Tell me beer.
Emma will worry me. Watch me, you come 1 week, Mr. WBT. Oh, now,
yes. Uga, nade. Senior, name me and you ma cut down my business is a collapse. I'm out of bounds.
So, won't take quick credit in Ghana?
Quick credit?
Yes, quick credit. Who pesika? Eddie, a true medium. We are government and a private worker. Who pesika they are till hot so. We are Busumi Juma. Who yes, Sicania be been tempered so. Quick credit, Bema will loan and what you are in Kakaka. Now, and let just some Cassian said. And you collateral free loaner, susu, savings, account opening, and a deposit as MBN. You hear me say, Ghana card. 2022 year, 1 year Juma, now 1 hour young. Who need excuse here? Quick credit to 03022 00390 and 05969 20833. But quick credit.
Morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy.
A la carte. Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African country.
Can I show what is written on the back?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn. So what's your pleasure? Dan Botras, yeah? At that time of the morning. never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
This is the breakfast show.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumpy, so we try our suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the fuck do, we go straight to stardom. And I gonna take you to next level. Baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level. But baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take you to next level. Baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go that level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I've done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
All SIM cards in Ghana must be registered again with only the Ghana card. Yes, only the Ghana card.
You will not be able to make voice calls, use mobile money services, internet, and all other services linked to your SIM card if you don't.
To register, dial *404# and follow the prompts. You will be required to send the following details on your Ghana card: Ghana card number, surname, first name, date of birth, and sex.
You will then receive a special code which you will present to your nearest service provider agent or customer care center for your biometric details to be captured. Remember to add your digital address.
Dial *404# on your phone to start registering a SIM card today.
For more information, contact your service provider on 100 or the National Communications Authority on toll-free number 0800 110622. Register your SIM card to stay connected.
back, hashtag GTV breakfast, hashtag Heritage Month on GTV. Still to come, conversation on how to safely transport explosives. And then I have a one-on-one with MC, multi-award winning event host Kabute Okansi. He's got a few surprises up his sleeves. But before that, yesterday, before I went to bed, I was thinking, what can you buy with 1 CD these days? And I put the question up, what can you buy with 1 CD? Apparently a lot, you know. So let me look at the comments. Lots of comments. Let's see. Where are you? Come. Okay, so 1 CD, I got so many options. Somebody said you can paracetamol 1 CD, water 1 CD, Gary 1 CD, sugar 1 CD. Apparently some of the public toilets now, they don't even take 1 CD anymore. It's like 1 CD 50 pesos. It's just Baumia's profound lectures, and I'll still be left with some valuable coins as change. The value of youth is what's staring us in the face right now. David Smart says you add it to 5 CDs for transport. Delalom says Gamu. Quite disappointing how the value of the CD has depreciated beyond rescue. Kwame says public toilet in Koko is not 1 CD 50 pesos, higher than this weightless note. Citizen Gascony, nothing, it has no value in this excruciating economic hardship. No, it has some value. It's still 1 CD, it's not 0 CDs. Edmond Amwa says so many things, buy water 30 pesos, urinate for 50 pesos. You guys, stop it. Kofi BNC, I'm not going to do it anymore. To toilet jokes. Koko Pari Aduba says, you accept free SHS, but you refuse to pay e-levy. What do you expect it to buy? Hey, Charlie, they take politics enter. Elfix Elvis, sachet water 3, take your 10 peso change. Keep wondering what to buy next with that change. Fiavi Etonam says, house of people without sugar. That's what 1 CD can buy for you. Sandra Chuba says, they lied to us. There is no change in the value. The value is still the same. Mama Guy is still in the public toilet. I don't want to go there. Justice Abusa, the value is no longer the same. Now, Justice has given us a whole budget for 1 CD. Gary 20 pesos, sugar 20 pesos, needle 20 pesos, groundnut 20 pesos, water 20 pesos. I mean, those days. That was the caveat. Those days, bad boy. Entry, Bosiaku. My regards to the one who lied to us in 2007 that this was equal to 10,000 old Ghana. That was the beginning of our currency woes. And Joseph Asari Latte says, 1 big orange is now sold at 1 CD. I was shocked. Mauko Mayo says, I can buy Gary 50 pesos and sugar 50 pesos. Wife material. Mauko, I believe, is a woman. She says she can manage that money. So even what she can organize something for you. Gary and sugar. The water will be free. Kelly Ozil says, 15 years ago, you could buy kinky and fish and still get change with 1 CD. Today, this money can only buy you 3 pure water. And I also believe that Gary and sugar can go with 1 CD. It seems Gary and sugar is leading a lot. More comments there. I'd like to find out from WhatsApp, 055-556. What can you buy with 1 CD? I'm going to go sit down with my guests and we're going to have a conversation right now on the headlines. So sitting with me today, I have King Kwesi Chedakwa, who is the Managing Director of the Finest Productions, and Oscar Provençal. You know him as Inspector Bediako. We know him as Oscar Provençal. And he's a talented actor, director, man of the arts, and a commentator on our show with King Kwesi Chedakwa. Gentlemen, good morning. Happy Independence Day to you. We are 65. Oscar, what does that mean to you, our independence? 65 years we've chalked.
Yeah, well, for me, let's say 65, we're in the retirement zone. If we were, should be coasting by now, but unfortunately we're not. But let's not forget, America is over 300 years old with its democracy and all of that, and so we're yet to catch up. But it's significant for me because my father was involved in, the independence struggle, and he was also held several posts during Kwame Nkrumah. He was Kwame Nkrumah's personal assistant, and so for me and my family, Independence Day is a day to reflect on our father's achievements. He was the first mayor of Accra. Became a deputy minister for interior, and stuff like that. So, we just reflect on the unsung heroes, and there's so many unsung heroes who are out there. You hear the big six, but I hope that everybody whose parents, have some connection with the Independence Day struggle and those days will celebrate their parents, because nobody will know nobody will know their contribution to building this nation.
That's awesome. Just curious, did you ever meet Osada?
No, I was born a couple of days after the coup. So I didn't get, my brothers got to see the grand, got to see all the stuff, but I was born after the coup, a few days after the coup,
born after the coup, BATC. Kwesi, what does our independence mean to you?
Well, in life, everybody's looking for different things, but one thing we can be sure that everybody would like to have is freedom. So some people find their freedom by way of riches. Some find their freedom by way of power. Some find their freedom by way of kindness to others. And, 65 years of freedom, I think, means a lot for some of us who are not yet 60 and who saw our fathers, serve as young pioneers in the Nkrumah regime. My father was one of those young pioneers who believed that people will be poor if they don't work hard for themselves. He never subscribed to this whole concept of communism or, let's have a distribution of all the wealth for all the people, that those who work harder will have more than those who don't work hard enough. And at 83, he still works and owns enterprises and has made life easier for his children. But one thing I know for certain is that if at 65 we were a gentleman or a lady, we would have gone on retirement if we were in the public service. I don't know about the private service. We would have built a comfortable nest so our children would have a place to stay and move out of eventually. And we'll be able to look back at our children and maybe their children's children and say we have paved a better way for them. And it disappoints me to say we cannot say that. Yes, we have come a long way, and I like the way every politician says we have come a long way, but the road is still very muddy, and the road ahead still looks quite dark, because you don't want to hear on the 65th anniversary of your life that you are broke, and that you have to go to every commoner in your family to ask them for contributions to be able to pay the rent and to be able to pay for the electricity and to be able to pay for the water. So there's something wrong with us as a people, but especially with our leadership, because every fish rots from its head. And leaders should take charge of what is wrong in the same way as they like to take credit for whatever goes right, and see that they have done not a very good job for our country, not just leaders in this regime, but leaders before, because if we would sit as journalists and write down the wastage over the different administrations of different governments in this country, we will see that a lot of our leaders do not even deserve to have state burials. It saddens me to say it, but that is the truth.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your opening thoughts.
Just a quick one. Is it all doom and gloom? Don't you think we've come we've come a long way. I mean, I think we've come a long way. You remember when you used to go to the post office to make a call? Yeah? You remember all those days?
I prefer having a phone.
And all the transitions we've been through as a society. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. There's a kind of balance out there, but if you're speaking for today, it's a bit gloomy. But I think as a society, we've come a long way.
All right. Let's dive into the headline, shall we? Daily Graphic: create change, First Lady encourages youth on Wednesday. Asin North MP duly served, says the Supreme Court. In the Inquisitor, be transparent with the public on the economy, World Bank Country Director. Ghanaian Times, National Women's Day celebration at KNUST. Stand up to be counted, First Lady admonishes women. At Dubai Expo 2022, President touts economic achievements under the Fourth Republic, says they are the greatest since independence. Gender equality, climate change, Center for National Development. And Emil Short bemoans laws criminalizing petty offenses. Our daily analyst leads with Ablakwa applauds Akufo-Addo for flying commercial to Dubai Expo. Okay, but there's a story that I want us to start with, and it comes on the back of some bullion van crimes, and the statement is up on the screen. I will read it right now for you. So, update on police investigation into bullion van robberies. The police have carried out an intelligence-led field raid at a hideout of the gang connected with the investigation into the bullion van robberies. During the raid at Boteman near Shaiman, there was an exchange of gunshot, and 2 policemen, their names are given as Constable Raindorf Jima Ansa and Corporal Stephen Kwekunyami, they have their numbers up there, who had been arrested in connection with the bullion van robberies, were shot and were pronounced dead on arrival at the police hospital, where they were rushed for treatment. Some other suspects believed to have sustained gunshot wounds managed to escape from the scene. Further investigations have led to the arrest of 5 other suspects, 4 of whom are policemen. We're pursuing 5 other civilian suspects who have gone into hiding. The policemen involved have been interdicted, and all the suspects, Constable Afisu Yaru Ibrahim, Richard Bodu, Constable Rabiu Jambedu, Constable Albert Ofosu, and suspect Razak Al-Hassan, a civilian, will be arraigned before court on Wednesday the 9th of March, which is today. We are appealing to the public and health facilities within the Accra Tema area to report to the police if they find any persons with gunshot wounds. We want to assure the public of our determination to continue to take the fight to criminals. To ensure the safety and security of all persons, we urge anyone with relevant information to contact the nearest police station. We can win this fight if we work together. Signed by DCOP Kwesi Fori, Director General, Public Affairs. This is an update on police investigation into bullion van robbery. So 2 cops shot dead. 5 people arrested, 4 of them are policemen. Your thoughts, first of all, Kweku?
I'm impressed with the way the statement has been put out. You can tell it's written by somebody who knows something about writing, and I'm happy with the Director General who signed that. Kwesi Fori is my classmate at the School of Journalism. Brilliant, intelligent man, and doing great service for the Ghana Police and serving the police command very well. Did you say that some of the suspects are police officers?
4 of them.
Is it a failing of our recruitment process, or is it an indictment on our politicians who throw the riff-raff from their families and friends into the security services?
I heard one analyst speaking yesterday, Adib Sani, talking about the fact that criminals have entered into the force. And I actually had a conversation with a police officer who said on a patrol duty one night somewhere in the Volta region, he was shocked to find out that one of the people in the squad was a criminal that he knew. So the man actually even announced to himself and said, "Look, we are now on the same team."
So and this is I made a comment about the failure of leadership that has gotten us where we are as a people. And my brother, came back with the fact, "Oh, but we've come far as a people." Look, if the majority of the students in your class get a D or a C, and only 2 get an A because they went on scholarship abroad, paid for by their parents and did well, you don't come back and say the whole school has done well. And if we are not willing to speak truth to first ourselves and then to power, we will be tickling our own selves and laughing for years, and we will have more such things in future. I mean, happening in the police, it looks that egregious, but happening in the public service with the thievery, we think, oh, it's been normalized. But that's where we are going to as a society when there is so much wastage. Now, I fear for the lives of our children yet unborn if you can have people armed by the citizenry, clothed by the citizenry, to protect the citizenry, now use those same clothes and arms to come and attack the citizenry. Not only should they be fired, but I think we should look at the entire recruitment process and how they came to be. Who recommended them? Name whoever recommended them, because I know the nonsense in this country that we call protocol. So you have your brother do well, exceedingly well, to join the university to study medicine. He doesn't get a place because they say protocol, and failures, people who haven't done well, get to go before them. Let us find out about the recruitment process as well, because it's not enough for us just to put a plaster on wounds. Let us actually bear the front of the wound and find out what is beneath. Because, for all you know, there's some senior person on it. For all you know, there's some senior person behind it. And this is a shame to everybody in uniform in Ghana. And I encourage every police officer in Ghana, if you know a criminal amongst you, find a way to report to a senior officer. If you're afraid to tell any senior officer because you think that senior officer himself may be a criminal, find a way to go to the IGP himself. Do that. We need to get, you know, these recalcitrant ones out of service.
Thank you for your thoughts. Oscar, so police people actually involved in the bullion van robbery?
Well, with all due respect, I don't think this is new. It's the first time in Ghana. It's not an American film that we watch where the police do the same, where it also happens in America. But in Ghana here, is it the first time? We can go as far, I don't want to mention names, maybe it might offend some.
What's your point though?
My point is, in the past we've heard about police and soldiers giving their weapons and giving their clothing to, you know, to armed robbers and things like that. You know, maybe going through a bullion van, maybe they must have watched a movie and thought they could get away with it. But it also happened back in the days. I'll mention Jack Bebley. You remember those days? They want to mention the names, but it's not on a frequent level. You see, I get a feeling that in this country we tend to throw the baby out with the bath. But I think that a few bad nuts will not and cannot define us as a people or as a group of people. Okay? There are brilliant police people out there who are doing great stuff. I mean, I just came from Obuasi last night, met a lot of great policemen on the road, Sergeant Frimpong and his crew who are out there, you know, doing their job excellently, you know. And so, yes, this has happened, but please, let us have a balanced view on some of these things and let it not define the state of Ghana in terms of security or the state of the police force because of a few bad nuts. And of course, yes, the issues concerning recruitment are crucial. The politicization of the police force, we all know about it. It's nothing new. This discussion has been going on for decades.
But
and
we
it's
must,
been compounded.
we must be outraged, mustn't we? Policemen involved in a bullion van robbery.
You think this is normal?
I couldn't agree with you more. You see, and sometimes when we speak, it is not necessary for me to show my outrage, bang my hand on the table and say, I'm outraged. But I'm saying that, listen, it's not a good sign. Definitely not a good sign. And I'm not trying to equalize it. And I think people should move away from, when you're trying to give a balanced view on something, think that because you're not saying it's an outrage, and therefore you're not speaking towards that outrage, it therefore means that you're trying to equalize it. It's outrageous that it should come from within. And the discussions concerning the politicization, and which has really been the bane of not just our police force, but the security forces in general, the issues you're talking about of criminals getting in, people who should not be there, the protocol systems, I mean, all these things are not new. And I don't think Kwesi today can tell me that he has heard this for the first time. So it is for us to put pressure on the system and on the IGP and all the people who are involved that the system should be changed.
Would it serve us better if, for example, we woke up to a statement from the IGP saying, look, from as of today, no more protocol, and this is how you're going to enter the police if you want to be a police officer?
Fantastic.
Because so far that statement is just a beautiful description of what has happened. But
so you're offering a solution.
Forward.
Yeah. Have you realized when I come here, I don't like spending time talking about the problem, because we all know what the problem is. I mean, we've been here long enough. If you haven't, that's fine, but we've been here long enough. So let's get to the solutions. You know, I can spend the whole time talking about, oh, the policeman, why did he do that, and what background did he come from, and all that, and waste all this airtime. We all know that. That's drama. Let's get to the solutions. Now is the time. We must deal with solutions. And you know, that's what I want to deal with. I'm outraged. Yes, I mean, I can't.
Solution is?
I can't do anything about it. But I'm saying, how do we deal with the politicization of the system? You and I sitting here, how do we get that outrage, to be transferred and transformed so that there is actual tangible change in that politicization of our security forces? Where does it start with?
It starts with the top. The guy at the top should just say, hey, from
do you want us to go on a demonstration?
No.
What do you want us to do?
No, we're not going to do any demonstration. I think the people at the top need to.
I want a pathway. I want a pathway for that change.
Okay. What will be the solution? What will be the solution? Since we're talking solutions.
First of all, there has to be a complete overhaul of the recruitment process. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You offered a fantastic suggestion. No more protocol. Yeah, how do you get that to be done? You have to go to Parliament. You have to make sure that they enact a law or they...
There's no law on protocol. Protocols are just like administrative things. So you just make it, boom, no more protocol.
So, once again, I'm not an expert in it. But I say let's offer solutions. This lambasting here and there with no solution in sight.
You don't have appetite for that.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So if people can call in, give us solutions, and we can move move people to solutions, that's for me the best way to move the needle. I'm not glorifying bullion busting, of course not.
I think my brother is losing his way, because when you state something which is outrageous...
I think you should stick to your point.
No, when you state something...
comment on his...
Allow me, because when you state something which is outrageous, and the first thing you say is, oh, but it's always been happening, it's as if you think it is okay that it's normalized. No. And words mean a lot.
No, it doesn't
mean that. First, you define the problem. Once you define the problem with clarity, the public, without you stating your outrage, will feel the outrage. From then on, each one of them at home will start formulating what they think could be the solution, so because that is where we invite
the
them.
Methodology.
Let me speak. Let me speak.
My methodology is
different. But let me speak. So my point is, I don't want to hear that when some people's heads are being cut off in Denjawase, you say, oh, but it's been happening. If that's what we're saying, we're letting people who are watching us think, well, it's normal. I don't want to normalize what is wrong. I want us to see what is wrong as wrong and what is so bad as so bad. But when we start off by saying, oh, but it's been happening, then really we're making you feel like, well, it's just another normal day in Ghana. So if I came from Mars and landed in Ghana today, and you can see the temperament of any nation by listening to its radio and watching its television. So anybody from anywhere else who comes into this country, who watches TV for just 1 hour, can feel the temperament of the nation. And we're talking about policemen dressed by the citizens, armed by the citizens, now becoming armed robbers, threatening the citizens. And my first commentary is, oh, but it's been happening. That's worrisome.
You know what?
That is worrisome.
I'd ask for what are the statistics.
That is worrisome.
You see,
what
are the statistics?
Even one is worrisome.
Can we ask the police to give us the statistics?
Unless we can accept that what is wrong is wrong, and we should be worried about every wrong that is wrong, then we are going to help our younger ones normalize everything that is wrong.
I'm sorry, but I disagree with this perception, because that's a perception that I would go by the statistics. What is the crime rate? Maybe we can speak on facts. Right now I'm speaking from what I have seen in my lifetime. And so I'm not in the business of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not in the business of giving a one-sided account. I've never done that on this show, and I won't. And so I think that for me it's important that, yes, it's happened. Yes, I can register my anger and my this thing. But at the end of the day, I don't think that it defines the police. There has to be correction on many levels in this country that has to happen right across sectors. I'm not discussing all the other sectors, but I'm saying that it is an outrage. It's not the first time we've heard about this. How do we ensure that it doesn't happen again? And what are the solutions to that? It's as simple as that. But to read into what I may say or may not say is purely subjective.
055-556-1034. I want your views. Subjective, objective.
He has forgotten that I'm wearing this hat. And when I tilt that, I might overthrow him.
055-556-1034. What's your experience with recruitment into the security services? Police, army, customs, immigration, fire. What's your experience? I'm just curious. A curious man asking questions. What is your experience with, let's try to give some solutions to the people who have problems with getting people to man the services, because if we have those protecting us now turning into cops and robbers, the cops have become robbers who try to enter those services. What was the thing like? You have to write an exam? Was it protocol? Did somebody just hold your hand and say, Charlie, come inside, I know somebody, you are in? Let me know. All right, let me know. 055-556-1034. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and the media is awash with stories. If you go to gdcghanaonline.com, you see stories, various stories on International Women's Day. There's one there headlined by the First Lady, who is advocating women in peace building. There's another one, bias against women is endemic in communities in Kosovo, Hima of Sekwa, Tanochrome. And then Kafi Danku was also talking about how she could have survived in her mother's era as a woman because of the kind of things they went through. It was quite emotional here yesterday. She was talking about recounting experiences that were recounted to her about a young girl, 8-year-old, who was sexually molested by some criminal, So there was a big conversation on women issues yesterday, and it's reflected in today's papers. First Lady is headlining a couple of our stories today. Stand up to be counted. First Lady admonishes women, page 16 of today's Ghanaian Times, and we've got other headlines in the papers. Graphic, create change. First Lady encourages youth on Women's Day. Another one is be bold and propose to a man if you love him. A Peter Queen mother tells women. Okay. All right, interesting. So there's just a woman's feel about it yesterday. How did you celebrate the day yesterday, KKD?
Oh, I wrote. Whenever I have conviction on something, I write. Because there's no greater power than to think, to write, and to speak. And so I wrote a lot. And I also looked at certain women's issues and wrote about the fact that women and men have more in common than we have, differently. And that we should celebrate our commonalities as well as our differences. And I also talked about the fact that when we all become the best we can be, we are able to create better families and a greater humanity. But I also noted in a writing that I did not publish that it is important for us to talk about the actualities instead of the just perceptions. Because there's been times, and there's a man that I would recommend that every young person listens to or reads. He's a psychologist. He's one of the foremost thinkers in the world today, called Oscar Peterson. Very, very brilliant man. And he talks about the fact that a lot of times we talk about the patriarchy, when in essence, I'll give you a good example. I'll give you my own example. In Ukraine right now, they've asked that all men aged 18 to 60 should stay and fight, right? But all women are shepherded with the children to safety. Now, we're not going to say the feminists are fighting against that, because we should fight too. There will be things where men will choose to do, and there will be things that women will choose to do. Women are caring. They tend to apply to be nurses more than men. Men like things. They apply to be builders more than women. If women want to be builders, of course, let them apply too. But let us not always state blindly that somebody has been prevented from something that they do not even want in the first place. Because whilst I encourage the feminists to fight for whatever it is they are looking for, they cannot force those women who have chosen to live in their femininity, who choose to be nurturing, who choose to have a profession, but who choose to put their family ahead of their profession, and shame them into becoming like them. Because there's a lady who wrote a book Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Her marriage failed. After the marriage failed, she blamed it on feminism. There's a foremost lady who was also a feminist, who was speaking so much about femininity and, no, not femininity, but feminism, and how, you know, we can get whatever the men want and all that. Men are not trying to get what women want. So be feminist as much as you want to be, but understand what you are looking for individually. Don't become the sheep that will be slaughtered for the service of somebody else's agenda. Because by the time you find that your career will not care for you in your old age, but family will, you may already be too old.
Oscar, what do you think? How did you celebrate the day? What are your thoughts on the International Women's Day?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a day that is more than welcomed, and women play a great role in our lives from the moment you're born, and you see what they go through, what your mothers go through, and as you grow up you see you know, the trials and the tribulations and the women go through. Fortunately for me, yesterday I was in a meeting in Obuasi and I had to come back for the show, so I just decided to send messages to all the strong women that I knew right on my phone and wish them, you know, happy International Women's Day. So that was not much of a celebration. If I'd been in town, maybe I'd taken my mother out for you know, for lunch or something like that. But yes, I mean, it's important that we look at these issues. Of course, there are issues of marginalization and inequality for women on many levels. I'm sure women mostly these days talk about equal pay and you know, and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the world seems to have been built by men. And if you look at more societies, women are always struggling to get their rights. And I, for one, don't see the difference between a man and a woman. I mean, what a man can do, I'm sure what a woman can do, a man can do, and what a man can do, a woman can do. So we need to move away from... We're getting there.
We can't give birth.
Are you sure?
We don't even want to
give birth. Oh, you wait. Technology.
We're not wired to give birth.
We'll get there soon one day. But yeah, I mean, we have to celebrate them. We have to understand them as men as much as possible. And yeah, I'm all for it.
There are some gentlemen, and I saw this in our comments yesterday, there are some guys who think that the boy child is being disadvantaged, and it's like everything is all girl child, girl child, girl child. You are former boy children. What's your view on that?
Look, it depends really.
You feel there's an overarching focus on girl child issues?
I think
the detriment of guys, boys.
Well, I think it's just because they've been more vocal and therefore more visible and present, you know, in the space, you know, for the advocacy space, and it hasn't been for the guys. Because the guys, we take it for granted, you know. Women are always restricted. Girl children are always restricted from doing certain things, from doing the tomboy things, and they're defined as, you know, what girls can do and what boys can do. I think in yesterday's conversation there was an issue about what was in the textbook of, you know, certain textbooks, you know, children we've been taught. So we've been, you know, we've been groomed like that, and maybe there has to be a reversal. The question is, how far do you take it, and how does society accept it? You know, but I think that as people become more and more educated, and that's why I think education is critical. Is critical in all of this.
All right.
You know, so I believe that as more and more people become educated, knowledgeable, we'll move away. There are certain societies, there are certain tribes and so forth who have a traditional way of treating women or viewing women and stuff like that. Of course, it's going to take time. You're never going to change anything in a day. But I think with that, you know, focus and that, you know, dedication towards making those changes, change will eventually come.
Chrissy? boy child, girl child. I'm not even comfortable with the term boy child.
No, there was
boy is a child. The
There
girl
was.
is
I watched the breakfast show yesterday morning, and Tom conducted a fantastic interview with two ladies here. And there was a statement that I heard, and I wrote it down because I was writing at the time, and I was very disappointed in the statement because I don't know if it came out wrongly, but the lady said something like, "No mother will let their child go to sleep hungry." And I thought that was very sexist. Now, there's so many sexist comments made by men and so many sexist comments made by women. We tend to excuse the ones made by women. And I was very upset really when I heard that, and I wrote a whole poem on that. How do you dare sit on national television and say, no mother will let a child go to bed hungry? You know, it presupposes as though, as for fathers, they would let children go to bed hungry. I mean, when I got divorced, I raised a son and a daughter by myself from the age of 7.5 and 5.5. And I wouldn't let them go to bed hungry. So it would be nice to say no good parent will let a child go to bed hungry. What is good in a woman is also good in a man. Men are nurturing, women are nurturing. But yes, it is true, because women have been very vocal, as Oscar said, it looks like we're giving them so much attention to the detriment of the boys, because the assumption is that we live in a patriarchal society. Do we really? Well, when women menstruate, it used to be a problem. But who invented the pad for women? Was it a woman? Now, look at all the conveniences that women have in the world today, invented by men. Now, you'll find that a good number of times, those very things that the women are complaining about are things that men do in order to give them comforts. Oh, I also want to do this. Okay, do it. Now, let me give you a society where women have gone further than nearly every society in the world. Go to Sweden. And now go and find out in Sweden, because women can do nearly everything a man can do. They have all the freedom to do whatever they want. They are not choosing STEM subjects because that's not what they want. They say, yeah, we want to have equal opportunities, but equal opportunity doesn't mean equal outcomes. So let's encourage women to do what they want to do. Let's open all the avenues for all our boys and all our girls. And you know, even with common entrance, we used to have a higher pass mark for boys than for girls. as though girls are not smart enough. Girls are smart. I have a daughter who's smart. She was the top speaker in the whole of Kensington in Chelsea and Westminster in England. I have a son who is also smart. He was the top speaker for the same two boroughs in England. Equally smart. So I'm not going to say because you're a girl, I'm going to make a special accommodation for you. Brilliance is brilliance, irrespective of sex. However, men have more strength, physical strength. And so when there is work that requires physical strength, I expect the one with the greater physical strength to do it. If a woman, however, has greater physical strength than a man and wants to do it too, let us let her. So I want equal opportunities for all, for boys as well as girls. But equal opportunity does not guarantee equal outcome, because different people are attracted to different professions, vocations, tasks, and even careers.
What do you think? 055 556 1034. Boy child, girl child politics. International Women's Day celebration. Matters are rising. Yesterday was an all-female cast. Today it's an all-male testosterone-filled panel. Let's see what Thelma has to say as far as the comments are. What's 055 556 1034. Here we go.
So I'm bringing some estrogen to the table to counter
yes,
all
bring
the
that estrogen in. Yeah,
bring
it on. Bring it on.
Gentlemen, and welcome.
Morning.
Continuing Heritage Month on GTV. So, the finest wearing his King Herod.
King Herod was a wicked king, was he?
So I'm trying to remember all my kings.
No, who had a lot of women in his court?
King Solomon.
Yeah, and he was wise too.
Please continue the message.
Let me continue the messages. Good morning, Oscar. Good morning, Cap. The greater part of the police officers who were involved with criminal issues were men who were greedy and not money from these criminals. Today, it's the criminals themselves who are in the service. We can all imagine where we are going. Nanaya from Adenta. Remember, comments are not reflective of GBC's positions on the issues discussed on our platforms. I have friends who have tried more than 3 times to enter into the police and army by merit but have not been picked or successful. I also know close people who have entered into the police with protocol by single application. Hence, my view is that it will take a miracle in today's Ghana to be recruited into the security services without protocol. Alexander Oral is watching us live from Sunyai. Thank you, Alex. Good morning to you and everyone watching. It's not surprising that most robberies have government security personnel involved. They were employed through protocol, no legit documents about them. Armed robbers are now being given guns and uniforms. It's sad. I have tried to join the military 2 times and I get dropped because I know no one. I'm on my 3rd trial. Until now, I haven't got the message yet for my medicals. This one doesn't work. I will try at least one, which my age will be above 25 years. By then, I will still try for the last time because I grew up in the barracks and I love to see soldiers. These are comments from people who are watching us. Good morning, GBC BF. Please, just say breakfast, okay? Because BF. Please don't let us run down our institutions because something very bad happened. One solution I will give is holding firm standards when it comes to recruiting, etc. Because if by protocol and the police don't compromise they don't comprise due diligence, irrespective of who brings who, the system will check before recruiting. Thank you, Ni sent us that. From Dan Soman, F1 says, yes, bad attitudes or behaviors of personnel of an institution may not necessarily be defined that institution, but does raise eyebrows and surely send bad signals to the nationals watching on. These might be the least of the happenings in our dear institutions if we continue to be overwhelmed by the protocol system and throw away our recruitment and selection process. Yes, it's not new in our ears, but we must continue to normalize every single bad behavior or attitude portrayed by those people. Some also come in the form of causing fire outbreaks after squandering public funds. Oh, Ghana, let me run. FY, if you are running, we are still seeing your messages. So stand there and speak. Good morning, Cap. Parents must stop forcing their children to involve themselves in government work like security agencies, teaching and nursing. These jobs are now becoming almost average parent's idea for his or her child, but not bothering to ask the child his or her interest job. If government can cancel protocol, that one can also help. Stop adding bad but to the good ones. Thank you. That's what James says. What Mike's thoughts. I know KKD will come under avalanche of trolls for his comments about whether girl child is getting more advocacy than the boy child. But remember, he said he wants to dwell on the actuals than the presumptions. Kobla is saying this. We're still trying to find the other names for kidney in the other languages for you. In fact, Nana KKD and His Royal Majesty can one day man Ghana very well as president and VP with his two fingers in the air. Henry from Tema, I don't need a gun or a uniform. What do you need? You need to contribute to this conversation. Bismarck says the issue of the recruitment process into our security service is very bad. There are no proper background checks. Once you pass through the protocol or once you pay money, you automatically pass, and all the officers are known to the system. It didn't cry from in prior, so using the hashtag we love to see GTV breakfast until we hear the reading of wills written by women at family gatherings and it being litigated upon by men. There can only be gender equity and not gender equality. Good morning, team. Good morning to you, Edinkra. Good morning. On the police, is it down to leadership is a question one of our viewers asking us there. That's quite long. Let me try and see if I can go through.
Given a Nigerian experience.
A Nigerian experience. Concerning the enrollment in the armed forces, I'm Nigerian and I have much experience when it comes to investigation and undercover because I acquired serious training back then. I want to know the requirements to join the Army or Navy because I've tried to inquire about their requirements but get no response from both. We need young, mentally uncorrupt, gentle, smart guys in the armed forces and not referrals from friends and political protocols.
I like
That's
that description. Young,
dignity.
mentally uncorrupt, gentle smart guys.
That's a
Man,
tall
I love
list,
that. I
isn't
love
it?
that. Young, mentally uncorrupt, gentle, smart guys.
I think it's a big ask if you're looking for
and
all
girls.
this.
No, but we must aim high.
Plus, how do you even ensure that somebody has these?
You can test for
what's
these
the
things.
measure of someone's mentally uncorrupt?
Yes.
You
give him a scenario.
Okay.
You give him a scenario.
You make sure that once he gets in, the
He will
system
not-
that...
So continuous checking.
Exactly.
Yes, you don't just enter and stop there. You've got to keep
Exactly.
doing it. Yeah,
Okay. Good morning, GBC. The boy child is gradually being left behind. KKD is so right.
And that's coming from a lady. That's coming from a lady.
Ajo is saying this in support of KKD's comment, and you can keep your questions and comments, suggestions coming in our WhatsApp number 05555 613.
I think we are done.
More? Okay. Akonya Ding, your
What is
stool
your stool
name.
name? What's your
Okay,
stool name?
Heritage Month. So I'll hand it over back to you, Cal.
Give us your stool name.
Akonya Ding.
Yeah, Akonya Ding.
Oh, me adache hime ewo adansi abedrum. Adansi abedrum is fabled to be the land where all Akans came out of. And so the Adansi abedrum stool is the uncle stool to Otumfo Tikokoso's stool. And that is why the Adansi abedrum hine, when he goes to Tumfo, is allowed to wear his slippers. You know, so the Adansi abedrum stool also guards the lands of Obuasi, where most of Ghana's gold is mined.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And your stool name again?
Oh, mine?
No.
Okay. Dachi hime ewo Adansi abedrum.
Okay.
Because we have the one occupying the stool at the moment inherited it from my mother's big brother, Nanawai Iduasari, who passed away some 19 years ago.
Okay.
And the one occupying the stool now is a professor of economics and secretary to the economic management team of motherland Ghana, Professor Amwaku Tufo.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Still to come.
You want to ask me my stool name?
What is your stool name?
You too. What is that?
Last topic before we run out of here. It has to do with Dubai and flying. So the president has flown to Dubai at the Expo 2022. He's been touting the economic achievements under the Fourth Republic, saying they're the greatest since independence. But what is more interesting is that this time the private jet did not feature. He flew commercial, apparently, on Emirates, and Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, the Northern MP, who has been keeping his eyeballs fixed on the president's itinerary, has commended the president for flying commercial to the Dubai Expo. Oscar, beating that he's flying commercial, finally.
People will put their spin on this, whatever they want to do.
Is he being sensitive? Because the jet has been in the news for a long time.
Well, the most vociferous voice against the jet has been Okujeto Ablakwa. Yeah. So if he's commending the president for, moving on this tangent, who am I to talk? So of course, what you want is leadership that listens. A lot of time we have leadership that doesn't listen, and the best leaders listen. And so I'm very happy that the president has listened to the outpourings of a certain section of citizens. But I have no idea what went into the decision making as to whether to take it or not. But it's good if it continues, fine. If it can be secure for the president of our country. And I think a lot of the time we belittle the safety and security of our president and presidents. We may laugh today, but something happens to the president in a certain manner that we know that can take up this whole country into flames. It's happened in Rwanda when a president's plane was shot down. So let's not belittle the issue.
Was it a president's plane or was it a commercial plane?
Was it a commercial plane?
No, you made a statement.
In Rwanda.
I want to clarify.
Not the person. Well, I'm not going into details. The president was in a plane. It got shot down.
The devil is in the detail.
Okay, so
was it the president's plane or a commercial plane?
I can't respond to that. Okay. And irrespective of whether it was a commercial plane or not.
So your point is safety.
My point is that at the end of the day, a plane was shot down. It had the president in there, and it's not a civil war. So we're talking about saving, savings or monies and so forth. But I don't think in Rwanda today, when they look at what happened, they will just take that issue lightly. And so let's also make sure that in those circumstances, the president is secure when he does take those commercial flights. I mean, this is not a big issue.
Okay, KKD, so he's flying commercial, and he's talking at Dubai Expo 2022.
I like the fact that he spoke at the Dubai Expo, and he spoke very well. Spoke very well. I think when it comes to winning investments for Ghana, our president is very, very well spoken, very eloquent. He spoke eloquently, and I think he's going to give people this confidence that if you have money to invest anywhere in the world, Ghana may be the best place to invest at the moment. I'm happy to say the gentleman in charge of Ghana Investment Promotion Center at the moment, Yofi Grant, is doing a good job, following on from the great job done by people before him. I mean, Robert Ankan Lindsay did a great job when he was there, and way before him, I think Kwesi Ahoy in his time also did a fantastic job, and Yofi is continuing a very, very good job. So hearing the president speak made me very, very happy. Talking about the flying there syndrome, you are not safe whether you fly private jet or business class or economy. Those who want to attack you will attack you. Once we get that clear out of the way, then we start thinking of where you come from. No nation in its right mind must spend more than it can earn. And I think the president and his team made a very good decision, not just to be a listening people, but to acknowledge the fact that we were wrong in the first place when we were renting that private jet at that price. It was wrong, and I want to encourage young people, all you young students in Ghana, all you 12-year-olds to 29-year-olds in school, start learning to choose this or that and stop standing in gray areas. Because when something is wrong, say it is wrong. Have the courage of your conviction to say it is wrong. If we truly were not a broke country, and we had so much, and we had hospitals all over, so that the best and the wealthiest amongst us needed not fly elsewhere to get health care, then yes, we can afford those luxuries. But when we haven't gotten there, there will be those who say, oh, but of course, there will always be rich and there will always be poor. No matter how rich a country is, there are poor people, because in America, there are homeless people. I say, in a case, let us shut the country down. Let us sell all the lotto kiosks and share everybody's money for him, so that the poor will sell their souls and then only the rich will live. It was a bad decision. And I'm happy that either the president or the people around him have said, not with the time when we are telling the country we are broke, should we continue flying in luxury. It was wrong. Now they have done the right thing.
Do you think the test will be the second trip and the third trip and the fourth trip?
No. You see, let me tell you.
Can you be conclusive
as adults, we must come to a place where we say, this is right, you can do it. Or this is wrong, you can do it. Okay, this one is based on whether we have extra money, because it is neither right nor wrong. It is just a comfort, it's just a luxury. I don't think we're in a place where we can be talking luxuries. We must protect our president at all costs. But luxuries, totally unnecessary. Yesterday, I saw the conference that the First Lady ran. It was a modest conference, but it was a beautifully organized conference, right? They could have gone overboard with the decor and had all kinds of decor as if a private businessman was having a wedding for his child. She chose not to do that. because she doesn't want unnecessary commentary. So we need for people in leadership to understand that, like I always remind our young people who watch television, the people in leadership are average citizens just like you who put themselves up to serve. They are not better than you. They are not worse than you. They are just off you. And once you put them in a position to serve, you give them certain perks so that they will be comfortable enough to serve. But you don't give them perks beyond the point where you have to continue, what do you call, tightening your belt,
squeezing blood from a mosquito.
Their belt. So I'm happy that he did that.
Alrighty.
But I have friends in Dubai who are not very happy with the stand that Ghana has over there, and I've asked them to send some pictures because they said our stand is nothing to write home about, especially with the rhetoric, the beautiful rhetoric of our president. Our stand is not impressive.
Thank you so much.
Maybe we didn't want to be
ostentatious. No, but we have style.
Listen.
If you go all the way to Dubai, you must
my point is this.
Yes, and this is the
there are technical reasons. There are reasons why people do things. I cannot stand here and be conclusive that it was because somebody was right or wrong. That is why
I said Oscar Peterson because Oscar was bothering me.
The
man I was talking about is Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, Oscar Peterson is the pianist.
Jordan Peterson is a man that I want to encourage every young man to read and every young woman to read and to listen to. He's a psychologist. He's one of the great thought leaders in the world.
All right.
And listen to him. He will help you, build your arguments and speak, very smartly in debates.
So are you telling me I wasn't speaking smartly?
No, I'm recommending him for you.
So now you see how perceptions can go on when you say things.
But I said I'm recommending him for you.
No, but it may go out in terms of communication to somebody else that you're referencing or alluring to what I have said.
Yes, but I am.
So that's why when you So now you're running away. You are running away from it just now, and I forced you to admit it.
No.
So communication. We all have our ways of communicating.
You see,
allow us
out
to
of time.
Unless we
the
get to
luxury that we do not have is time.
Yeah, but
I'll tilt my cap.
I wish I could talk, but
final points.
But I will have to end it right here.
Final point
With King Kwesi Che Dakwa, Managing Director of the finest productions, looking resplendent as a royal of Adansi, and Oscar Provençal, Inspector Bediako. I love his hat.
It's a hunter's hat.
It's a hunter's hat.
And
who are you hunting? Who's your
tilt it and dethrone the king.
Gentlemen, it's been wonderful. Yeah. We have a conversation on transportation of mining explosives. But ahead of that, at Apelsika in the western region, residents are unhappy. What are they unhappy about? The slow pace of development in the area. They say some basic amenities, basic rudimentary amenities like quality education, hospital facilities, and proper sanitation, totally non-existent in some areas. And youth unemployment is also very high in that area. Our reporter, Beatrice Seneju, has just returned from the community, and she brings this report like a Greek bearing gifts. Enjoy this report, and then the explosive conversation comes up after this.
As I prepared to make the trip to the western region, I began researching for areas of interest. So Ejan it was. It popped up as one of the communities. And knowing virtually nothing about it, I had to prepare as best as I could. Unfortunately, the information online was not helpful, so Google Maps provided its exact location. It put it somewhere along the western coastline. Armed with information, my team and I hit the road for the adventure. It was a smooth 9-hour journey to Axim Junction and another 1 hour to Ejan village. Our shaky shots are enough proof of the deplorable roads. This brought to mind how the inhabitants, especially farmers and drivers, commute to the market centers with their produce. Within an hour, the team arrived at our final destination. I stepped onto the street, hoping to catch some interesting sights. To my dismay, everything looked still. Ejan is a fishing and farming community in the western region with about 700 residents. From history, the town was named after a tree located there known as Ejan. The people migrated from Mori in the central region and settled here over 10 decades ago.
My nana since Antono, and I'm from the man or bay, or Tejemra, or Berna, the Nano, Ukurabi, no champagne, Mpana Yafana, also, Damadia better again. You say, all in Nia, no, no,
the people speak Fanti, Nzima and Chi. Ejan is surrounded on one side by the sea and the other by a forest cover. It has a scattered settlement with beautiful rock formation at vantage points near the sea. This particular forest cover, I'm told, is a sacred place for the indigenes. They believe their ancestors have been their backbone over the years.
On the Dinic Paka, Busumor, for Paka. No, Buapa, Nana, Yamsuna Benti, Omoncha Keno, and you win here for one for more. Almost 10 years. Let me tell you, Yamanan, Adriana. Because taught a Gambaku, says we. Why you under know? 2008. Namka Yad Manu. Fishermen here set off on their fishing expedition, often at dawn and return in the evening. This is where brisk business begins. I had a chat with these fishermen and they tell me their fishing business is gradually dipping and this is adversely affecting them every day.
We used to have a bumper harvest when we went fishing, but things have changed in recent times.
These days, when we go fishing, we catch a lot of seaweed. This is taking a toll on our pockets.
Residents of Ejan are also actively involved in agriculture, with their focus being on rubber. With all these possible areas of making a living, youth unemployment is high in the community. The few that are engaged in agriculture are thinking of making a switch due to the many challenges in the sector. They complain bitterly about post-harvest losses.
We have a lot of cassava here, but no one buys it. We sometimes reduce the price to get something small.
We need loans to start something new because the fishing business is no longer lucrative. With the rubber cultivation, it takes years to get value for money.
With the poor roads here, traders, farmers, teachers, nurses and drivers say they are all negatively affected. Masa Yakubu is a driver. He plies the Ejan Road every day and shares his experience on a rainy day.
It is difficult transporting the teachers to the school on a rainy day. The motorbikes they rely on always tip over, so teachers are unable to teach on rainy days.
The community has a long list of challenges. High on it is the issue of tidal waves. In recent times, according to inhabitants, many have already been forced to abandon their homes and livelihoods due to the devastating nature of the waves.
The sea has taken over half of our buildings.
There are other challenges.
From urgent to axim so akwanwa bipo bia wom kula no sensuo to ba kope anu anu no.
In times of emergency, it is difficult getting a vehicle to the nearest town due to the bad roads. In the rainy season, the rainwater covers the road. We need help.
Say you call a rain season time kra insu to try cover car kwan so. Car kwan dey say tumu kwa chiri a we bibia wetuma.
Our produce often go bad because we are unable to cut them to the market to sell. We need the routes fixed.
SDG 11 on sustainable cities and communities has various targets in improving the livelihoods of many rural communities. One of these is to enhance inclusive and sustainable urbanization and capacity for participatory, sustainable human settlement planning and management in all countries. For many, taking the box on this goal will help make life easier, including those living in Ejan. Their daily prayer is to see change from change agents like NGOs and philanthropists to help develop their town so they too can have a comfortable life. Beatrice Senaju, GBC News, Ejan.
Thanks for staying on. It's still breakfast on GTV and it's Heritage Month on GTV, and we are celebrating all things Ghanaian this month on GBC's platforms. Thank you for joining us. This is our time with the Minerals Commission, and last week we discussed the additional measures put in place for the safe transportation of explosives pursuant to rules as set out in regulations 95 to 115 of the Minerals and Mining Explosives Regulation 2012 LI 2177. In today's edition, we are going to continue our discussion on the additional health and safety protocols, and we are delighted to have once again Mr. John Amwenyi, Acting Chief Inspector of Mines of the Minerals Commission, to clarify some more issues for us this morning. Mr. Amwenyi, good morning once again and welcome.
Good morning.
You're decked in your smock and hat. Very Ghanaian.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again. We just want to recap what we did last week. So, on the heels of what happened in Apiate a couple of weeks ago, there was a need to add on some more measures to the already existing ones in LI 2177. And these have been done and communicated. Recap for us once again what some of those additional measures are, in case someone missed it from last week.
Okay, so for the additional measures, I have the measures here. So what I would like to do is to just
go through a few
of them, and then we start to this one. If you look at the point 6 of the additional measures, it says that the escort vehicle shall be inspected and all the details recorded in the inspector's field book by an inspector of mines on the day the explosives are to be transported. So, and then if you look at the 7 says escort vehicles must have a red flashing light clearly visible at least 50 meters away, and a crimson or siren or hooter or automatically operated bell. So I think that recap the what we discussed last
week. We also talked about the speed limit and the distance between the escorting vehicle and the truck carrying the explosives.
Yeah. For the 8 points, I talked about the transportation itself. So the transportation of explosives on public roads shall have 2 escorts. Formally, if you look at the regulations, you say there should be an escort, which the regulations do not clarify. So the additional measures were put in place for clarity, to clarify certain aspect of the regulations. So for this one, the transportation of explosives on public roads shall have 2 escorts, one leading the explosives track and maintaining at most 50 meters from the vehicle carrying the explosives, with a uniformed and armed police officer, and the other behind the explosives track and maintaining a distance of 50 to a distance of at least 20 meters and at most 30 meters with an armed and uniformed police officer. So that is what it is for the 8.
Okay, so that's what we covered last week.
Yes.
Are there additional measures you want to educate us on this morning?
Yeah, the 0.9, 0.10, maybe based on your questions, it will take care of those additional measures. But I can just move into read the 0.9. A person who drives an escort vehicle shall not drive faster than 60 kilometers per hour.
Not faster than 60 kilometers.
60 kilometers per hour. You need to drive at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
Like, the same as the explosive track. So we don't want a situation whereby the escort track will be far, far, far away than this. So
I remember that you said one of the reasons is because last week you told us that you don't want other drivers breaking into the way of the escort vehicle, whether in front of or behind the truck, when they are moving in that line.
Yes. Because we don't want, that is, we are using the escort vehicle as also a shield at the same time whilst escorting them and listen. Announcing the presence of the explosive track is also as a barrier, so that in case there is any intruder, I think you will encounter the escort vehicle before, and as also the siren and then hooter and then so forth. I don't think there will be any other vehicle wanted to come in between the two, based on what had happened before. So that was what I was just...
Right. I'm seeing that you have a paper in front of you. So we've talked about 8, we've talked about 9, and I think we've mentioned 6 and 7. What else is on that paper? I see about 14 points.
Yes, it's 14. So let me I can quickly go through the 14 points.
Let's
and
do
then
that.
we move into your... Okay, so the number 10 says that competent persons accompanying explosive tracks shall notify the regional inspector of mines in the region upon arriving at their destinations and indicate the arrival times in a designated logbook for that purpose. And
why is notification important?
Yes, like we want to just acknowledge your arrival at where you were supposed to transport the explosive to. So once you arrived, you need to notify the regional inspector that nothing happened. We were able to arrive safely. So that is all that we need. We want you to just notify the regional inspector. Okay. If you look at the 10, it says the explosives manager shall develop the code of safe working practice, and the code shall be approved by an inspector. So if you look at our regulations, that is the regulation 515 of the LI 2182, that is the health and safety one. And then also if you look at the explosives one, that is the LI 2177. It's before you do any activity, you need to develop this safe operating procedure. So that what we are saying is that you need to develop as an explosive manager. You need to come out of your safe operating procedure, especially transportation along the public road. You need to just develop, and then it should.
This is for every mine or for every mining company.
Every mining company, every explosive company, every mine support service company, quarry, and any blasting firm. If you want to engage in the blasting activities, if you want to transport explosives, you need to go by this.
This code of safe working practice.
You develop. You see, it's like you are developing a code such that whatever you will do, you follow the procedures, and then you do, and then it will be savory, and then you do the right thing you are supposed to. And then what we are also saying is that this code of safe operating procedure should be risk-based. If I say the risk-based, like You know, if you are transporting along the road, you see, we have towns, some of the road, you will not even see any town. So once you know that at a point or in particular where you are just using the explosive truck to travel, at a point in time, you will meet a town, maybe very bigger town. And then you see the population, and then the whole place is more denser. And then you see a lot of vehicles, a lot of these tricycles and then the cycles. What we want you as explosive manager is that you need to, if whilst developing the safe operating procedure, you need to just take all those things into consideration. Look at the risk involved, so that you just, after just developing this one, you train the competent person who will accompany the explosive truck, and then also the driver, because the driver also needs to give an induction, so that while getting closer to that particular area, then you should know how you just move your vehicle slowly, and then the hooter, siren, every requirement, you need to just also perform what is supposed to perform.
Okay, so the mine manager, you're saying that
the explosives
manager is the one who's supposed to develop the code.
Yes.
And then they have to do that based on the risks involved and train the competent people to transport.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. Great, I think I'm following the conversation. We also know that certain kinds of explosives are prohibited from being transported on public roads.
Yes.
Explain that directly to us.
You see, we have 3 types of explosives. We have the high explosives, we have the detonators, and then we have the blasting, what we call blasting agents. So for the high explosives, we don't manufacture in Ghana. So we always import the high explosives.
For example,
we have some called, if you've heard about dynamite, pentolite, power gel, they are all high explosives,
which are not manufactured in Ghana.
We don't manufacture in Ghana.
Why not?
We don't have
the capacity.
Yes, the facilities and the capacities.
Is the Minerals Commission thinking about building capacity to do these things?
We cannot do it on our own unless maybe investors will come around and then just do it.
How much will it cost to set up a facility like that?
I haven't done that calculation.
Okay,
but you see,
it's a lot.
Just look at the safety aspect of this. Even where you need to just do this manufacturing, it should be some area specific. You need to just identify an area, and then also those things involved in the manufacturing. All these things need to be taken into consideration.
So that's high explosives, detonators.
One we call detonators. So that is also normally called the low explosives, and then we have the blasting agents. So
do we manufacture the detonators?
We don't also manufacture the detonators here. We also import. If you want to import, you apply through the Interior Ministry. But the Commission, the Chief Inspector of Mines need to support your application with a letter that you have facilities here you can store. You have the explosive managers, you have the competent people, they can just handle those materials. And then we have the blasting agent. The blasting agent is done in Ghana here. The components, that is the materials we use, especially for the ammonium nitrate, that they are imported into the country. But the composition, the components are the ammonium nitrate and then also diesel or fuel oil. So if you mix the two together, you have the blasting agent. So what we are saying is that since we are importing the ammonium nitrate and then we also have diesel here, why not find a place within the mining environment which will be inspected, and then we take it will be inspected, and then we come into compromise that the place is appropriate for the mixing of these explosives. That is the blasting agent. What happened at Apiati, the blasting agent, that is we call AMFO, ammonium nitrate fuel oil. So we can manufacture this particular one. So what we are saying is that why not just go to the mining area, go to the quarry where the support service company is, or the area we wanted to just do the blasting, and then do the manufacturing there, rather than transporting the blasting agent along our public roads. So that is all that we are saying. So we need to have the equipment, the plants, the materials to be at a specific place, to do it closer to the mine, so that after manufacturing or after coming out with the blasting agent, we just distribute to the mining so that they will use, rather than just doing it at a particular place and transporting along our public route.
Let me see if I understand this clearly. So in the case of Apiate, as we are using as a reference point, remember that a full report on what happened will be submitted to the sector ministry, and they will communicate accordingly in due course when that is done. So this is in no way meant to be an indictment or a prejudice on the ongoing investigations. You're making us understand that, for example, in the case of Apiate, the explosives were being transported together. This is the ammonium nitrate fuel oil.
Yes.
Was being transported together with the diesel.
No, I'm saying the transportation, the explosive, that is the blasting agent, were being transported.
Okay.
From Takwa, where the plant
was based.
Yes, and then to a mine called Echidano. So what we are saying is that this can be manufactured at the mine site.
The ammonium nitrate fuel oil can be manufactured.
Can be manufactured at the mine site.
Okay.
The ammonium nitrate fuel oil, you have your ammonium nitrate, and then you combine with diesel or fuel oil, and then you have your blasting agent. So what you're saying is that don't do it and transport, but you should identify a site which we will do the inspection there if the place is good for the mixing of the ammonium nitrate fuel oil, so that you do it closer to the mine, so that there will not be any transportation of this particular one, because this one we can manufacture.
Okay, so now the rule is, or the additional measure is, do not transport ready to go, for lack of a better word, explosives.
Yes,
like the ammonium nitrate fuel oil.
Yes.
You can transport ammonium nitrate and the fuel oil separately. But not the already mixed one heading to the mining site.
Yes.
Sweet. I think I have a career in mining analysis, at least, if not the actual.
So that, for the initial, I was saying the high explosives, we cannot do it here, so we import. The detonators, we are not doing it here, we import. But this one, we can just manufacture.
Okay.
So what we are saying is that go and then manufacture at a place closer to the mine, so that you will not transport this explosive to our public roads.
Okay, so that's the prohibition there. You can explosives on public roads, they have to be sited closer to the mine sites. Let me take us back a little bit to the code.
For this particular, I just want to just stress on this particular one. You see, we have also given exceptions. So unless the Chief Inspector of Mines give you exemption on this particular one.
What are the modalities for the exemptions in this case?
So it depends. If you apply that, because of, you need to give us why you cannot do it on site.
But isn't it about offering one thing and taking it back with the other hand? So you've already issued a directive and then you say unless.
Yes, we have just, because you see, this came just instant. So if you can convince the Chief Inspector of Mines that, oh, because of this reason, we need to transport, then he will also look into where do you want to transport the explosives to. Whether it's from here to Paga, where it's from here to maybe Dunkwa, or wherever you want to.
So you are Chief Inspector of Mines. Under what conditions would you permit a company to transport these materials in this flammable state?
So first of all, I will just look where you are transporting to. Can we set up a factory, or can we set up a mixing plant at a particular place, or do we have the plant which can be used to do the mixing there? One, if we don't have, fine. Do also give us your route. Where will you use for your transportation? We need to also know what are the measures, the security measures, because we consider the safety and then also security. So the police been involved, the BIN or BNI. They have to. You also need to notify the national security about this transportation. We need to involve all those, and then also go by the 14 additional measures. So if we involve all this, because it's explosive and then anything can happen. So you give us the destiny, and you need to we ask you to notify maybe the district, there's a MCE at that particular district where we think the place is very congested. We need to just define a time of the traveling or the day of the traveling. If it is a market day, we can say that no, don't transport this at this particular market day, or just do it this day, because this day there's no market at that particular route you want to use. So all these things need to be considered, and then before we can just also give you the exemption, and then the exemption will be limited. Either we will give you for only 1 month or 2 days or 3 months, depending on the type of material or the number of material or the need of where you want to transport the explosive to.
On that basis, are you in talks with the mining companies to try and sort of facilitate the process of them having space designated for carrying out these things?
Yes. You see, when this thing happened, even that time, the Chirano were already setting up the mixing plant. So currently, they've notified us, which we have given them the go-ahead to do that. So that.
Have you gone to inspect the facility?
We have inspectors in Kumasi. They go there. So at any particular point, they notify us, and then we will just alert the inspectors to go and then just have a look at where they have gotten to, whether it's okay, not okay, and then so on. So they just only give us an update on this particular.
But Shirano is just one mine.
And all the mines has been communicated to. We've sent a circular. I myself has also sent some to all the inquiry, everyone. We even engage the explosive companies and then also engage the quarries. The mining companies we sent to the chamber of mines. Ghana Chamber of Mines, so we sent to their CEO for him also to just also forward it or also sent to the various mining companies, because we want everyone to be aware of these additional measures so that you don't go contrary to the measures.
Okay, let's go back maybe briefly to the code of safe working practice. You told us who must approve it, a certain procedure, but where should it be kept? Should it be displayed at the work premises? Should it be something that workers should have in the back of their minds whilst they are working? Are they handed hard copies? What's the mode of communication of this code?
The transportation involves a lot of activities. So the activity which will before we can just issue, and then that person can even do the mixing of the blasting agent. So anyone with explosive certificate of competency, we term that particular person as a competent person.
Okay, because we are talking about personnel, tell us about who accompanies a truck of explosives on a journey from one point to another. We know that there's a driver, and then there are escort vehicles, but who are the people in these vehicles?
So for the explosive truck itself, we have the driver and then also the competent person. And then for the escort vehicles, you should have the driver and then the police escort.
The two?
Yeah, the one leading and then the one behind. They all should have policemen.
Okay.
Yes.
In the situation of Apiate, there were suggestions for perhaps an ambulance to be on that escort. Is that something that you've considered for eventualities and risks?
What we are considering is maybe the one behind to have emergency response facilities. So in case there's a fire, they can also fight the fire, and then that one there will be a fireman in. So that is what we are considering. But for now, what we have said, or the measures issued out, they are the ones we are now going by. But there was a whole considerations we are also looking for. We see, as a commission, we believe the concept of continuous improvement. So once we identify that this can be also used or can be added, so that it will make the job very safe and then also secure. Because always we think about the safety and then also the security, and then also the health of the workmen. So that is what we just look. If at a point we notice that this need to be improved. We need to, and then we also just put across to the public any suggestion, anything which can also be added to make the transportation of explosives along our public roads safe. We accept, and then we just add it to.
Okay, so emergency response vehicles, facilities, or implements to accompany the vehicles. I've also heard.
I'm saying that's what we are.
You're considering.
We are considering, like in case there was emergency response vehicle which has all the fire implements can be used to quench the fire. I think that particular the firemen should have even just quench or extinguish the fire, but because there wasn't anything of that sort. So what we are saying, well, that's what we are also considering. We need to consider so many things. So that's one
suggestion.
Yes, we are just brainstorming so many.
The other one that I've heard perhaps has to do with insurance packages, and I don't know if the Minerals Commission goes into.
For now, that is what we are also looking into.
Okay.
But we haven't come out with any other thing, because we know that all vehicles need to be insured. That is what we know. Every vehicle in Ghana, we need to insure the vehicle. But the other aspect of it, that is what we are also looking into.
Okay, now take us through once again the checklist for the safe transportation of explosive materials.
Okay, so if you look at this is the checklist. We have about 16 checklists. So if you look at the one, it says, is the explosive company duly registered and having all the requisite approvals or permits? So this one, the inspector who will be there to just monitor before the explosive store can be moved out. You need to just check all these things. And then if you look at the two, it says that did the explosive manager notify the chief inspector of mines or chief inspector of mines or explosives a day before transporting the explosives to a mine or quarry? If you look at the three, it's a mine inspector present, inspected, verified, and recorded in a special designated explosives logbook that all the requisite safety requirements, rules and protocols been met before transporting the explosive. If you look at the four, as the explosive truck being physically inspected by a mine inspector and gone through the truck examination list to ensure it is in good condition before transporting the explosives. The five says that is the explosive truck driver having a professional driving license to drive the vehicle. The six is the explosive truck having a red flashing light visible at least 100 meters away. And then the seven is the explosive truck having a klaxon or siren, hooter, or automatically operated bell. You see, this klaxon, hooter, automatically operated bell, we use that one in underground, but in our explosive regulations, we are not having that one in our explosive regulation. So we are saying, why not just also bring them to be a requirement of the explosive truck? But for underground, we use them. We use something called locomotive underground, and then it should have all this requirement I've mentioned.
Okay.
If you also look at the 8, is the explosive truck equipped with automatic fire suppression system and fire extinguishers? If you look at the regulation says fire extinguisher, but there's nothing like automatic fire suppression system. But now we are saying the vehicle should have the automatic fire suppression system. We used to have fire suppression system, but that one were not automatic. But now you have to do the activation. But now what we are saying is that you should have automatic fire suppression system. If you look at the 9, that is the explosive truck has an integrated monitoring system to check driver fatigue. So this is also what we wanted to introduce, because as you drive, we also need to look whether the driver is fatigued or is not. So fatigue management, we should have a gadget to.
What's the acceptable amount of time a driver is safely permitted to drive an explosive before they have to be replaced or changed?
You see, it depends on where the explosives is being transported to. If it's as a far, then there should be 2 drivers, because even if you look at our road regulations, a particular driver, you cannot just drive longer than 4 hours. You see, you'll be fatigued, and then also we are even saying that we shouldn't even wait for 4 or 3 or 2 hours. There should be something to monitor you. If the team notice that you are fatigued, and then the behavior, because at times you can see people driving and you could see that the person is tired. Asleep. Maybe he couldn't sleep well, and so all these things need to be. We have a machines who can check all these things. The mines are already using those machines in their pits. So what we are saying is that why also not happening? But some of this, we are saying that we are giving some of these things the time frame, like the tracking. As the explosive truck moves, there should be some tracker tracking the truck, so that at any particular point you know where the truck is. So that is also another thing we also. And then we are also saying that, do we have a megaphone on the explosive truck to warn persons or bystanders in case of danger? So in case of danger, there should be some communication to the community, or where we have the crowded or bystanders, so that they run away from. Because at a point you cannot do anything. All that you need to do is to run away. And then in Ghana here, these days, once people are running away, people are also coming to just have a look and then just film or snap the distance. Number 11 says, as the company installed an in-vehicle monitoring, as I said, the tracking monitoring system in the explosive truck vehicle. So that is the tracking system I was talking about. So if you look at the 12, as the mine inspector endorsed, certified as okay the way bill for the transportation, and satisfy himself that the explosives are under the direct control of a person with a certificate of competency in accordance with regulation 15.2 of LI 2177. What we are saying that, you see, every explosive truck after loading, it should have a way bill. So inspector, if you look through the list, you've gone through the list with them, and then all the requirements have been met, then you need to endorse to the way bill. If you also look at the 13, is the transportation of explosives having 2 escorts. So that is the mines inspector. We need to ensure that we have the 2 escorts, and then we have the policemen, we have the police permits, you have all those things that will permit the truck to move. 14 says as the explosive truck driver being trained and aware that he has to maintain a speed limit at most 60 kilometers per hour while transporting explosives on public roads. So also there should be some training for the driver. So we call it induction. You need to give some induction to the driver, and then just explain everything. You shouldn't go beyond this, and then the distance you need to maintain. As the explosive 15, as the explosive manager developed a code of safe working practice regarding the transport of explosive from its operational site to other sites. And then lastly, is the competent person in possession of the explosive code of safe working practice. So these are the 16 in our explosive transportation checklist. These are the requirements. If you are able to, you've met this, then you can move your thing out.
16 checks before you move the truck.
Yes.
So final comments from you. What happens if any of these regulations are flouted?
If we have various sanctions on that, and then also, first of all, the explosive manager, you see, we give tickets or we give certification to the explosive manager. Your certificate can be endorsed or cancelled or suspended, depending on the gravity of your breaches. So, in the first place, you, the manager, you yourself, you'll be punished. We will also punish the company. Now I know the sanction. We will just impose some fines on the company. Then also, it will also have prison terms, which can also be added. We don't, when it comes to the prison and all that, we don't prosecute. So those things will be handed to the police to just handle that thing. But what we are saying is that you can be sacked. If you go contrary to this thing, you can be sacked.
And since you are considering additional measures, you are considering emergency response, you are considering insurance packages, is there a plan for mining companies to assume more responsibility in case of accidents and incidents for the communities and the lives affected by such happenings like in Apiate?
Yes. As a mining company, you need to coexist with your community. And then their community problem is your problem.
So why do we see so many of these mining communities lacking so much in amenities? I wouldn't want to mention names because then the lawyers will start writing us letters. But we know prominent mining communities where basic social amenities are very few.
Yeah, what I would say is that the mines, they are doing their part. And then you know, I hope you have done economics. You see, woman wants are unlimited. Woman wants are insatiable. So as we do, I think that the demand will also come. You cannot satisfy everyone. But we will also encourage the mining companies. We are saying that at their returns, they need to include their corporate social responsibility, what so far they've done in their returns. So we also look into, we also have the community relations inspectors. They also go to the mines and then community. So they are just bonding the two together. So if there's an issue with the community relations officer will handle those things. So at times you have one or two people within the community, they will come out and say so many things. But I think it's good. As I also said, you cannot satisfy everyone. They will also just appeal to them to do as much as they can. Because you see, whatever you are doing, you are still imparting something negatively to the community. So once you are in the community, you also need to ensure that the communities they are satisfied.
Thank you, Mr. Amwenyi.
Thank you
for spending time with us.
I'm
sure that we'll meet again. Mr. John Amwenyi is the Acting Chief Inspector of Mines of the Minerals Commission. He's been explaining to us the additional measures put in place for the safe transportation of minerals, mining equipment and explosives pursuant to rules set out in regulations 95 to 115 of the Minerals and Mining Explosives Regulations 2012 LI 2177. Mr. Amwenyi, I'm sure we'll have you back again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I also thank you very much. It looks so beautiful.
Thank you in my Akwaba outfit for this morning.
This morning is extraordinary.
Thank you, Mr. Amwenyi. Okay. Thank you to Red Cultural for putting this look together for all three of us, myself, Kaf, and Maltiti. We are rocking the Akwaba look. It's like a poster card look, and you see the ladies posing with their pots under their arm, and they are just welcoming you to Ghana. Akwaba is their Kan word for welcome in Ghana. So welcome, and Kaf will be welcoming you to the Yellow Couch in our next segment, speaking to award-winning event MC Kabute Okanse after the break. Stay with us.
Coming live from the capital. This is the break. Nya kete diye madwa. Nya big day diye doma. Nya UG diye mefwa. Nya pietus diye Frida. Darling, what's your problem? Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumping, so we try our suicide. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the button go do, we dey go straight to stardom. And I go take you to next level. Oh my baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level. But baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take you to next level. Oh my baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go next level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat.
Injija woman malaria enka won to them. Lufat, eye malaria drop pen.
And now you may kiss the bride.
Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat. A two malaria sententem. FDA. Ashesa ejede inkratoi ajatum.
From 1921 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve greatness.
Main brands which were in the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which we were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. We were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products.
What's it like to be a professional event MC, a host person who has an event in the palm of their hands? And talking of palm, don't forget, because it is relevant to our conversation this morning. Welcome to Your World, brought to you by Quick Credit, lending made simple. We'll turn around and we'll be right back. And so we've turned around and we're right back here for the conversation with my guest today. If you go to his Instagram page, you will see GEIC Best Event MC 2019-2021, EAA Event Host of the Year 2021, NCA Most Outstanding Event MC 2020, GEIC Honorary Award for Excellence in MCing, and his name is Kabute Okanse. A lot of people know him as Kabute My MC. He's got this whole branding thing going on, which we'll explore. And if you're an MC, event host, professional, compare, you want to be listening and taking notes to see how the whole thing is done. What happened?
I'm awesome, Senior. Good to connect with you.
Charlie, good to see you, man.
It's an honor to be here.
This year we haven't met.
No, we haven't.
So happy New Year.
Fantastic New Year.
And happy 65th anniversary for Ghana.
Yes, and happy International Women's Day as well.
All of them in
together.
One. What does the independence of Ghana mean to you?
To me?
Yes.
I think, it's one of those things that we take for granted, honestly, especially within the context of the last few weeks and what's happening with Russia, Ukraine. It's just giving me the chance to just put myself in the situation where, imagine if your home is no longer safe for you, if your country is no longer stable. Imagine the very little things, waking up in the morning, going to work, going to school, going to the marketplace. Like being displaced, it's something that you really cannot fathom until you have actually experienced it. And I think for me, that helped me to put in context, especially when our Independence Day was also just marked 2 days ago, to just realize that it really is a privilege to be in an environment where you are safe, where you find a certain measure of peace, to be able to even pursue, just live your life and pursue your goals, your dreams, and have aspirations.
And do events.
And do events,
Yeah, you can't do events in a war situation.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, I think the independence of Ghana, it signifies that some people literally really sacrifice so much to give us the kind of peace, the stability, the environment in which we have, because without that, nothing else is possible, really.
You're talking about Ukraine and Russia. Do you know anybody in that area?
So I do, not currently, but I do have friends and colleagues who had been there, especially medical students who had been there for training, so I could at least, because I've had phone conversations with some people from there, so I've heard of some of the cities, Kiev and a few of the cities before in my interactions with some of these friends of mine. So even though I don't have friends currently there, I could relate. I could feel it, that imagine if my friends were still there as at now. They have graduated, but obviously there are even more Ghanaians there now than when my friends were there as well. So I can completely, like just this morning I was reading a post by a friend in the US who went to have coffee at a shop and was talking about the fact that just across him was sitting 2 Ukrainian families, and he could literally, see the fear, the sadness, the uncertainty in their eyes, and he didn't even know how to even engage and relate with them. And I think that it just gives us reason to be grateful. We are not everything we want to be. We can be so much more, but nonetheless, there's still so much to be grateful and happy for.
Indeed, so much to be grateful and happy for. I'm just curious though, were you ever tempted to go abroad, to go to school or work?
So here's the funny thing. I've never been tickled to go and live and work abroad, personally. I don't know where that came from. I am excited about traveling. I'm excited about seeing the world and experiencing different people, different cultures, different foods, and all of that. But I have never really, I can't see myself living outside.
Why not?
Because I think, first of all, you see, within the deficiencies of our environment are opportunities that do not exist in places that are 100% structured. That's number one. Number two, I am a very immersive person, and I'm a very social person. And based on the feedback and the conversations that I hear from people who've lived abroad, to a large extent, you miss that soft side of life, because the environment is so structured and is so regimented. You're so consumed by work and by, the rudiments of life that you lose quite a bit of these, and I think I'm just comfortable being having the familiarity. So I would go on a vacation any day. I would, visit any country any day, but I think I will forever want my base to be Ghana. I remember sometime in secondary school, my mom wanted to inspire me to push my grades or maintain high grades, and she made a promise to me that if that semester I was able to hit a certain target, she would make sure that vacation I get to travel to the UK or to the US or something like that. I didn't do too well that particular semester, so I didn't go. But thank God later in life I've had the chance to travel a number of countries. But to be very honest with you, personally, I think I would want Ghana to be forever my base.
You base here, and then you can move and go and come back.
Plus, I think I have enough passion about, I think that a lot of us complain so much, but we lose sight of the fact that the things we complain about, we are here to contribute to making them better. And I feel that fire in me, that I am a part, or I should be a part of the solution of Ghana, in whichever small little way I may be involved in. If it is just about nurturing my children with the right orientation, if it's about being an example to my friends, to my colleagues, in little ways of work, and if all of us were supposed to be going out there for greener pastures. Part of what we are today is a reflection of the fact that a large chunk of our most qualified, most inspiring, most hardworking people are working out in the world. Imagine if all the Ghanaian doctors that have ever been trained in Ghana, who are in the US, Europe, UAE, etc., imagine if they were all in Ghana. Imagine what our hospital systems would be like. So this is my small way, but I enjoy being in Ghana, honestly.
And I know you enjoy what you do. If I were to ask you to describe yourself in terms of your profession, what would come first?
So the interesting thing is, I think to a large extent right now, I've come to the conclusion that I am just a person expressing more from their creative field. Okay, so there are different shades of that creative field for me. At the moment, what primarily engages me in the public space is being a professional event MC. That has opened opportunities to express another, shade of creativity, which is acting, both on stage and on screen.
So MCing came first?
MCing definitely started.
How come most people think of you as an actor first?
So it depends on where they connected with me first. Because I was a significant face with Roverman Productions. Yeah. So a number of people may have engaged with me for the first time on the Roverman Productions stage. And so by that way, they would characterize me more from the acting point of view. There are people who also engaged with me. Their first engagement with me was at events. So they would see me primarily as an event MC. You understand? Yes. So, but at the time, not only was I a part of cast, but I was also a full-time team member at Roverman Productions. So that was my full-time engagement. Yes, at the moment I'm still a part of the theater group, but my full-time engagement is as a professional event MC. And then because of the flexibility that gives me, I'm able to also now explore my entrepreneurial, inspirations as well. Yes.
Okay. All right. And so speaking of being a professional event MC,
yes.
Check this out. Kabute is in the house on GTV Breakfast, Heritage Month on GTV.
All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a grand celebration. It is the 4th anniversary of Safari Birth Ghana, and I thought I had somebody screaming out loud. That's right. Now it's a big party. People come from far and near to celebrate with us on this very important day. And we know that our God is in charge of everything, and everything will be amazing. Well, it is our 4th anniversary. Safari Birth has been in Ghana since 2012, making impact, changing and influencing and affecting lives. People have won amazing prizes over the period, and today we want to celebrate ourselves and all our hard work
as possible whilst achieving the specific goal of that particular event. So you're not a full-time staff, you're not a member of the team, you're not the CEO of the company, but for the purposes of that particular event that you are serving as the MC for that brand, you represent the brand even more than the CEO, just for that specific moment of the event. So it's absolutely important for you to immerse yourself in being able to understand what the brand is about, what it stands for, what its values are. because how can you present something that you don't have an understanding of?
And it goes down even to micro details like the color tie.
Absolutely, it does. The colors mix. I mean, imagine going to host an MTN event with a red tie. You understand me? It doesn't even get started. I'll give you a typical example. A number of years back, I went to host an event for Cowbank. Okay, and Mr. Frank Edu at the time was the CEO of Cowbank. And I knew I was going for Cowbank, and their colors are gold, you know. So I did have a gold tie, all right? And then the event started. I was hosting the event, and of course, he was the CEO, so he was sitting at the very front row. I'm not sure he would even remember this. But at some point in the event, and he's a very spontaneous guy, he was like, hey, is the tie you're wearing, is that a Cowbank tie? It's gold, but is it a Cowbank tie? I was like, no. You know, he actually got them to give me a Cowbank tie.
Because there's gold and there's gold.
There's gold and there's Cowbank gold.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yes, absolutely. I call my general brand of emceeing by immersion, which means that I don't show up to work on the event. I show up to be a part of the event. And that's seemingly little shift in orientation about how you approach the event makes so much of a difference. So there have been clients who have booked me for events, and unfortunately they did not make time to meet with me before the event, and unfortunately I had to cancel. Not because I didn't want the money, but I thought that I would not be an authentic representative for that particular event because I had no context, I had no understanding, I had no appreciation of what your goals are, what you want to achieve with the event. I had no understanding of the kind of mood you want to create to be able to meet the kind of objective that you want. And so at the end of the day, when I show up, I'll just literally be an announcer, be a signboard who never gets to the destination themselves. And I don't think it serves my brand. I don't think, even more importantly, that it serves your brand, which I am representing for that particular moment. They thought it was a bit, petty and it was a bit far-fetched. But honestly speaking, that's how importantly I take my job.
And you want to maintain the standards, of course.
Absolutely.
055-556-1034. My guest is Kabute Okanse, also known as Kabute, my MC.
That's right.
And we are here on GTV celebrating greatness in Ghana. So if you're an event host, a wannabe event host, an MC, a compare, an announcer, and you want to get some tips on how to make a thing even better, this is where you are. 055-556-1034. Let me throw it back to the beginning. What's a man with a science background doing, introducing guests, immersing himself in corporate culture, and injecting passion into the work?
That's right. Well, look, even if I answer that specifically, I can't be on a platform hosted by Kafu Day and really not pay tribute to you and to what you have stood for within the field in which I operate. Because to be honest with you, you are one of those people that at the time I did not even have a personal contact with you, but I looked up to you. You know, the grace with which you carried yourself as a corporate MC and even transferred into, the media space. I think that if I'm here on your platform today, thank you for leading us and showing us the way.
Salute.
And taking this forward.
Thank you very much.
So honestly,
the beginnings.
Yes, the beginnings. Life is interesting. Yes, I grew up in Ghana. You know how Ghana, typical orientation is. If you do well in school, automatically go and do science, go and do, this or that, that kind of thing. So that really is what happened to me. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have some good grades. And I don't remember when I was leaving JSS to secondary school, whether there was even a serious sit-down conversation to say, what do you want to do in future, blah, blah, blah. It was just almost automatic. Once you got 12 ones, hey, go and do science. And I love the science and it was okay for me. But I think looking back today, I'm happy to recognize that a lot of things in my development has contributed to me becoming a good MC.
How has the science helped you?
Yeah. So, the science, so people ask me to use your biochemistry, which is what my first degree is, and my master's is food science and technology. And I tell people that even though I may not be mixing reagents and chemicals, the important things and values that I learned from being a science student is, for example, attention to detail. For example, about being very, very analytical. Number two, about having the brain power to be able to hold information. You know, people take it for granted. You know, and as an MC, there are times when you have to think on your feet. You literally have to think on your feet. So these are things that, you know, even though they are the soft side of science, have become very critical for me in working as an event MC. But through school, fortunately, I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. So like primary and JSS, I used to do poetry, cultural dance.
Where did you go to school? Just curious.
I went to Mother Care for creche. I went to Engelbert Preparatory School, Airport for JSS. I went to Pope John Secondary School.
Pope John's?
Yes, that's a bread. for secondary school, and then I went to KNUST for my first degree and went back to KNUST for my master's.
Which halls?
Well. Oh, I was in Republic Hall. I was in Republic Hall officially, but in my spirit, I was a Katanga.
The spirit is more important, man. The spirit is more important.
I was a Katanga in the spirit, but yes, officially I was in Republic Hall. So honestly, that's how it evolved. When I went to secondary school, I joined the school choir. I played hockey, you know, and then when I went to university, through church ministry, I got introduced to theater. You know, and then once I was done, came out of school, I never ever thought, you know, of my in acting or movies or stage. Or
so have you done any science related jobs?
Oh yeah. So when I left, when I finished my first degree, my national service, I worked with a project on KNUST campus. So that was purely science related. From there, I joined a development consulting firm, also with a background in my biochemistry and all. Yes, but then 2011 is when I literally just went to attend an event with a family. You know, we went for an event, beautiful, you know, the kind of event where I say money no be problem, you know what I mean? So beautiful environment, the lights, the food, the music, everybody's looking beautiful and all of that. Unfortunately, the MC was not the best. And you know how, I mean, you would know how when the MC is not the best, even the best food does not taste right.
It's wrong. It's wrong. Everything is wrong.
You know, so unfortunately, I remember sitting there, looking in the eyes of the couple, and I could just feel them cringe.
Oh, Charlie.
You know, and I felt bad that, you know, for a wedding event, which is like, you know, once in a lifetime, you want to look back with some joy and excitement.
What do you think happened? Is it that they thought, oh, he's a good speaker, he can
That's
be
what happened. You know, back in the day, there was really nothing like professional event MC.
Yeah.
So your best bet is your uncle or cousin or friend who is supposed to be funny, who is supposed to be confident. But people forget that how you are in regular engagement is completely different when you are standing in front of an audience.
Yep.
You know, once your mind is not framed right, you would be completely off. The funniest person could become mute if they stood in front of an audience.
300 people.
Exactly. And they try to compensate for it, and they say the wrong things, and so it just kept getting worse. And unfortunately, it was quite a bad experience on the day. So two things ran through my mind. Number one was that the couple deserved better for that all-important day. And then number two was, I kept thinking, if this guy is the standard, at least for now,
you can do better.
I think I can do better, you know, I think I can do better, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, so well, that week went by. The following Saturday, we went for a completely different event and wedding as well, and almost the same scenario.
Another bad MC.
Different wedding, different MC, but also the same kind of experience. And so I remember that week going to work. I was working with a consulting firm, you know, doing my biochemistry work and all of that. But the thought never left my mind. It literally haunted me throughout the whole week, you know, that I really can do this. And it wasn't so much about, oh, I want to do it as a job. I just felt like
you can do
the event deserved better. And I think I can at least give better than what I saw. So I remember on the Friday, I went to work 7:30. Just on inspiration, I opened Facebook. Facebook was relatively new. I created a page, Kabute My MC. No picture, no video, no description, nothing. Just put it there. And then I went about my work duties. Around 1:30, I came back from lunch, and out of curiosity, I went to check Facebook. And guess what? I had received my very first inquiry.
They say, we want to work.
That was it. This was January 2011.
Okay.
The wedding itself was on the 30th of April, 2011. So that was my very, very first event.
How did you prepare for that?
So this is the interesting thing. First of all, the realization that I was now being engaged to go and do an event for a real couple, a real family, was scary. That was the first thing. So number two, I went to try to do some research, try to search around. Honestly, there wasn't really any very focused material that could help me. So what I decided then to do was, look, I have to create my own stuff. So the first thing I did was I came out with a number of different event scenarios. So I came up with, I think, about 9 different events, like weddings, naming ceremonies, birthdays, corporates, you know, opening, you know, those kind of things, funeral, and then came up with my own program outline for each of them. Then what I asked myself was...
So this was the science bit of you.
This was exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah,
this is the science bit, breaking it down, making it simple. So then I asked myself, okay, so if I'm going to a wedding, they say first item, maybe opening prayer. How do I call for an opening prayer in a way that makes it effective, but makes it nice, makes it different, you know? So I went through literally that for all every item on this. On the program.
It's almost like a pilot.
It is
going through his checklist before you take off.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Very analytical.
You know, and the truth is that the environment of events is so fluid that there's really nothing cast in stone. No, everything is changing every moment as we go along. You know, so fortunately, I went for that event somewhere around East Legon. This was a Colonel's daughter. You know, averagely 300-400 people, and the moment we started the event, I think the guests, you know, many people attend weddings, so somehow I think they kind of got a sense that the mood was a bit different. You know, it was quite orderly, yet it was interesting, it was engaging, you know, it was classy, nothing, you know. And so people kept going to the bride. She's called Myra. Kept going to Myra, asking Myra, who's this guy? Where do you find him from? Is he your family? I was like, oh no, I saw him on Facebook. And so right at that event,
another gig came.
I was booked for 6 other events.
What a mercy.
6. Yes.
From one.
I was booked for 6 events for that, but they were all about 3 to 6 months away.
Ahead.
So after that event, what I then did was I then put together a small, you know, proposal of a sort. And again, that's a science bit as well.
Yeah, of course. Get it structured.
I called the leading event houses at the time. So I remember going to Jandel Limited, Antiafi. I remember going to Planet Ghana, Gloria Bachman. I remember going to Unique Floral, and just presented myself to them that, hey, this is what I do.
Look for me.
And they were surprised, but they were curious as well, because, you know, as event organizers, they were also in charge of, they could control all other aspects, but when it came to MC, they had to rely on the couple to bring somebody. And that somebody could literally unmake everything they had done.
Decor and everything.
You know?
Yeah.
So they were also excited about the possibility of having a professional that could take that stress off them. But it wasn't easy for them to give you a real event when they hadn't seen anything you had done.
No proof of evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, for Antiafi of Jandel, Gloria of Planet Ghana, I'll forever be grateful, because they took a chance, gave me the opportunity. And once they had a good experience, it really just took off from there.
Awesome, wonderful. You know, the beginnings are always really nice, and if once you can remember how everything started, every MC has its own story or her own story, and this is a wonderful one. Very, very nice and structured and organized. We've got some messages for you on GTV Breakfast, hashtag GTV Breakfast, and Thelma is going to read them. 055-556-1034. Thelma, what you got?
I got loads for you, Kaf. I think I finally remember where I met you the first time, Kabute. It was definitely at a Roverman production, definitely, because
that's right.
I used to be constantly there. All the place, I used to be there. So messages coming in on our WhatsApp number 05555-61034. Remember, your comments are yours. They do not reflect the views of GBC. Yeah, Kabute, my MC, has the fellow spirit in him, the yellow and black stripes. On that note, let him respond to this for me. Fellow.
Even I know that, and I'm a vandal. Even I know that, and I'm a vandal, man.
Shout out from my cousin, your employee, Albert Nitego, to you, fellow. Please ask Kabute, any courses for those who want to be like him? Are there any MC courses anywhere to be explored?
Well, to be very, very honest with you, at the moment as I sit here, I'm sure it's okay to say this, the most formally structured training platform I know is run by my senior here, Kafu Day. I am just beginning to put together a video training series as well, so that should be launched hopefully by the end of this month as well. So watch out on my social media platforms.
That's a long answer. The short answer is follow Kabute Okanse. Follow Kafwide on social media.
They should find my book. I have a book called How to MC Any Event.
That's true.
Yes.
So Kaf has a book as well, How to MC Any Event. There's another book coming that you could also find tips
video
from.
book.
So follow Kafwide and follow Kabute Okanse. More messages coming in. Good morning, Kafwe. I've learned a lot from your conversation with Kabute. As a broadcast journalist and budding professional events MC, I think the fallouts are just invaluable. Big ups to my senior Kabute, my MC from Shadrach, a broadcast journalist with Metro TV. Thank you for sending that message across. It's such a great opportunity to watch Kafwe, a senior MC, interview Kabute, another senior MC. I'm loving it and learning. This is Kweku Boateng, aka RoJJ, the guy MC. RoJJ, I love your comments and they love it as well. Thank you for reaching out. Kwesi from Madenta, Kabute is best MC in Ghana. Please pass me your number. I know you. My best moment with him was in Kumasi at Dinkres wedding. So those are the messages we have on our WhatsApp platform so far. Are there any more? I'm sure more will be pouring in. So I'll hand it over back to Kaf and Kabute, and then when you send more, I'll be back to read them.
Thank you for the messages. Wonderful. Let's talk about challenges.
Okay.
What are the pitfalls to look out for, and some of your worst experiences? I mean, it looks all great in your talks, and you are speaking so clearly and engaging the audience, but there must be disaster stories. You don't have to name clients, but what were some of your worst moments in the job?
No, so I honestly think that the biggest stumbling block, let me put it, the biggest thing to get over as a professional event MC is really yourself. I sincerely believe so. When people ask me, oh, what do I need to do to become, the first thing I tell them is that you need to know yourself and have clarity about your personality and how your personality either adds to or takes away from a specific kind of event.
Do you have to be an outgoing, ebullient, gregarious person to be an MC?
No, you don't have to be, but it could help you to figure which kind of event you are most comfortable at handling. And then once you know that, then for the other events that your personality does not naturally support, you have to now work on your personality to fit into that. So I'll give you very clear examples. Fortunately, I have quite a wide range. So I do both social events and corporate events and entertainment events as well. However, I'm still very much socially inclined in my natural disposition as a personality. Okay, so if I'm going to host a corporate event, I need to understand that I cannot allow my natural, vibrant, animated side to overtake my cool, calm, collected professional side.
You have to tone it down.
I have to tone that down and, you know, upgrade the professional bit a bit, you know, to be able to fit that particular event. If I'm going to host a party or a wedding, you know, then I can allow the social side to be much more dominant and significant. If you feel that per your natural disposition, that shift is difficult for you, then you can specialize. So you take somebody like, you know, our own brother, Jerry Ajololo, who obviously fits perfectly within the space of being a corporate, you know, formal MC, you know. So he does weddings and social events, but if you see him at a social event, you would see a very different, you know, kind of event. He also has his own unique way of putting it across. So once you know your personality type, it allows you to fit more appropriately to the particular kind of event. And if you want to specialize, then it gives you the room to choose the area, you know, that you can put more attention on. In terms of, you know, disasters.
We all have them.
So look, this is my 11th year of hosting events. I've been blessed to do, you know, almost 1,200 events over this period. And I wouldn't say I have not had any disasters, but to be very, very honest with you, they are very few and far in between. But the good thing is that some way, somehow, we're able to
recover,
you know, make it work. You understand? So the situations that I have not particularly enjoyed is when I am being micromanaged. You know, being micromanaged either by the host or by the event planner or organizer.
The bright matter.
You know,
tell a joke. I see the thing is on a tap, right? Tell a joke.
You know, I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm hosting this particular event. Of course, I've engaged with the couple, so I know what to highlight at different points. And during their first official dance, they wanted to have a very intimate, focused on them moment. And the song they chose was important to them. So they wanted to hear the song. They wanted their guests to hear the song. So this is the context I have. So I did a fantastic introduction to it, and then I allowed them to have their moment. Now, as they are enjoying their moment, you know, with all the dry ice and the ambience and the lights have dimmed and the music is loud and everybody's here, then the mother of the bride from across the room literally runs across the dance floor where the couple is, comes to me and says, Abante, Jijihu Kakraman, what?
His mother's.
And I mean, literally to translate that, he was like, you know,
heat it up.
You know, like heat it up. You know, make it, say something, make it nice.
That's not what they want.
Mommy, you know, and how, you see, in that moment, how do you explain that to her?
My brother.
And without also compromising,
exactly.
you know. So I just put my hands around her, you know,
shepherded her away.
And I was like, you know, at this point they wanted this, that. She really wasn't getting the context. I remember events. I'll talk about rain. Okay, I remember two particular events. One JPN in Kansa, Cleaver House here in Accra. The other one Jifa and Romeo in Akusubo. Both cases, beautiful setup, outdoors, great ambience, great vibe. Everything is working well. Just as the couple is ready to step out, the heavens open and the rain just starts pouring down. You know, and imagine that the first sight of your wedding reception is everybody running to find shelter, you know, somewhere. Fortunately, so that was really a challenge, I won't lie to you, because at that point I remember going to the car and the mood, the face, it was just really down. In both cases, fortunately, there was very limited space, but these were like storerooms. So together with the groomsmen and the other vendors, we literally had to unpack the storeroom, create a little bit of space, and just bring the people in there. Yeah. But believe it or not, in both instances, they ended up being one of the best events we've ever had. 75% of the guests went away, but the people who really, really wanted to be there stayed. And because they realized it kind of started off on a bad note, we all became collectively invested to make sure that the couple have a great time. And we ended up having really a fantastic, you know, celebration.
So thinking on your feet is important.
Absolutely.
Being
critical.
creative,
Absolutely
looking for
critical.
solutions.
Looking for
How about humor? Some people say, oh, I'm not funny, I can't be an MC.
Well, humor is important.
Not humor, cracking jokes.
Okay, so yes, that's what the humor is cool, but you don't have to be a comedian. Personally, I tell people I am not a comedian. I'm not. My goal of hosting an event is not necessarily to get everybody laughing, but I do what I call situational humor. So within the context of what is happening, I can drop a witty comment here, and because we can all connect to it, we'll see the humor in it and we'll smile and laugh about it. Beyond that, I hang more on my ability to curate emotions. So places where you need to create, you know, somber tones, places where you need to create excitement, places where you need to create anticipation, you know, that's what I really do, to carry the energy of the room and to lead it to the space where I want it to be. But I'm not the kind who will come and once upon a time kind of joke and tell. That's not my gift.
Let me tell you that joke. Which is the last thing to do.
No, that's not my gift. You know, and I tell people, look, when you want to be funny or you want to tell jokes, be very, very, very careful. Because number one, what makes a joke funny is the fact that people can relate to it and they can recognize it. If they cannot recognize and they cannot relate to it, doesn't matter how funny it is, they will not get it. And it will become counterproductive to what you're doing. Indeed. Number two, almost every joke throws a punch at somebody. Now, when you're in the environment, especially of a social event, you have no idea who is in your audience. And the person you may be punching may be a significant person to the event you are hosting. And then you kind of like have completely gone off guard. So be careful. If that's not your gift, be careful about jokes and comedy.
I can see messages coming out of the corner of my eye, and so Thelma will be dispatched to the wall pretty soon. 055-556-1034. Before
this has also evolved, you know. So obviously, within certain environments, there are certain things that may not be the most appropriate. So here's what I say. Number one, I think I'll probably speak more to the general public in terms of if you are the one hosting an event who's looking for an MC. Okay, you need to know what you want, and if that vibe works for you, if that's the environment you want, fantastic. By all means, you know, indulge yourself. There have been people who have invited me or you know, asked me to host events, and based on interaction with them, I realized that event, honestly, I'm not the best fit. There's somebody who probably would do a better fit.
And would you recommend?
And I always do.
Yes.
I always.
In fact, you recommended the gig to me last year, so thank you very much again.
So yes, I always do, because honestly, I am committed to the event more than I'm committed to myself as the service provider. Thank God I get multiple bookings on regular, so there would be an option for me. But I would rather the best fit shows up for a particular event than for me to be the one there just because the paycheck comes to me or goes to some other person. So specifically to the dancing and to the animation, I think if you're a professional event MC, you also need to understand the event is not also about you. Do you understand? So in as much as you want to be engaging, you want to be immersive, you want to connect with the people, just don't make it all about you. And the moment you cross that line, then you know, it defeats something in what you want to achieve. Yes.
All right. I hope you guys are taking notes. Event MCs and host compares. It's a masterclass right here. Yeah. Take the video and go and watch it again when it's done. Thelma, more questions.
Yes. Remember, you can watch this again and again and again on our WhatsApp, our Facebook platform, and also on our YouTube. Just follow Ghana Broadcasting Corporation or follow any of the sensational MCs you see over there, and you can get it again. Messages coming in. Good to hear your story, Kapute. I've been wanting to have a go at MCing, but not sure where to start from. I'd love to connect with you if that's okay. From Kweku Niyama. So we get this a lot. People have a genuine interest. They think, I think I could actually do this, but where do I begin?
Well, so yes, definitely connect on social media. I think that's the best place. Like I mentioned, hopefully I should be just before the end of the month, I should be launching my video training series. Please, I bought probably 10 copies of Kafui Day's book. So that's a perfect place to start from. All right, How to MC an Event by Kafui Day. Perfect place to start.
Where can
from.
we get How to MC an
Event?
Event?
Hit Kafui Day on social media.
Follow the two.
That's right.
On social media. Kweku Niyama. It's a great way to start. So you're asking, how do I start? Follow Kafui Day and Kabute. Simple answer. Mr. Kabute, I just like your programs. I have a contract for you at a town called Liatiwote in the Volta region, where you can locate Afajato. So it's Afajato. You don't add mountain to that, because To is a mountain.
That's right.
And Afaja is the name of the hill that you climb. So Afajato. So that's the mountain called Afaja, not mountain Afajato. Or you say mountain Afaja, and that will be easy. So this is my ever 101. Probably the only thing I know how to say. So here's a contract for you, Kabute, at Liatiwote in the Volta region, where you can locate Afajato for a special ceremony. Would you be interested in that?
You go out of town? You go out of town?
Absolutely. I go everywhere. I travel. I've done events in 9 countries. So yes.
Destination MCs. They are all here. Kudos to Kabute to be interviewed by the senior MC. Humbling to have met you. Rich input always for my advocacy journey. Thank you, Kabute, is what Katie Bex is saying. Hey, Cabs, you are a Mongo, man. Forget fellows feeling. You're doing great, my Mongo mates. Bob Charles of Bonto, new biker bohem in the Oti region, sent that to us. Monica, this interview has been great. I'm just having a super swell time. Completely agree with you there, Monica. Kaf's book is a masterpiece, trust me. I think it is as well. I think both gentlemen are we should just close. Too much greatness in one room. I'll hand it over back to you.
Thank you very much. We're about to close. But before that, I'll ask you to pick up your random question and answer it. But before that, you are into palm wine too?
Yes, yes. Hey. Interestingly,
MC, if a scientist, MC, palms.
That's right.
Yeah,
you
tell
know,
me about it.
You know, we're talking about Ghana and being here and all of that. I think that one of the things that we need to work on a lot more is to be able to upgrade our indigenous and cultural gifts. That's what I call them. And you know, across the world, every main cultural group have their own authentic drinks and stuff like that. And I was just having a conversation with my younger brother who's really in Kenya, Nairobi. I went on safari in Nairobi. It's unbelievable. You know, Cape Town is like being in a movie.
This question was for you.
It's like being in a movie. There are places I still am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a place like Barbados. And it's funny how things imprint on your mind. You know why I'm excited about Barbados?
Maybe who came into town recently?
No, not at all. Many years ago, there was a particular advert on TV for a drinks brand, and it was situated in Barbados, and they had a signature and all of that. And somehow it has stayed on my mind. So I really would love to do that. So, Santorini, Greece.
Charlie, you won't go places.
Oh, I really won't go places.
You won't go places.
I honestly think that one of the most undiscovered or unexperienced parts of Ghana, honestly, is the Volta region.
Okay.
I think so. I think some of the places, some of the beaches, talking about Keta, talking about places like Sogakope, the Aborigines places. I mean, these are places I really want to
take you go.
And wherever you want to go as well, remember to visit my hometown.
Which is?
My hometown is Adan.
One time.
That's
beautiful.
Right.
Last question, 30 seconds. If you were president for one day, what law would you pass which would stay forever in this country?
Rent. I would deal with rent. I would deal with rent. It does not make sense. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use that word, but it does not. It doesn't make. It's not proper that we pay 2 years advance for rent in Ghana. It's unbelievable. Like, I'm so passionate about rent, I can't overstate it. Like, the majority of people are just coming out of school, majority of people are just building themselves, majority of people are in the lower to middle segment of society. How in the world are we supposed to cook up 1 year, 2 years rent? I know the law says 6 months, but we all know the law does not.
So that's what you would change?
For me, I will make rent law work. 3 months or less, or month-on-month basis. I think that alone would change the lives of a lot of people.
And all around the country, I can hear loud choruses of "Amen! Let it happen." Listen, I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
It's great to see your beginnings and where you're taking MCing to. So proud of you. Looking forward to the video series. Let me know. I'll spread the word and get people to be part of it. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
I'm honored.
All right. All I need is to open this thing.
Right here, right here.
Oh, it's yes. All right. So that's our show, really. Thelma will join us for a sip of the pub.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Can I have a bottle from you?
Yes. My director must know that the show is over. I'm not drinking on duty.
Can I have a bottle?
I'm not drinking on duty. Okay. So the credits are rolling. I shall pour.
Somewhere in the world, it's 5 p.m.
My job ends at 10. So when